bitch. Oh, excuse you? Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey y'all, welcome and happy Wednesday. It's your boy Chris Avalon. Welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, gossip, and hot topics. So if that's a show for you, definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today. And by a lot of tea, I mean a lot of tea. We got like 13 topics. So we're going to talk about Sinners. It looks like it's going to be another great weekend for them. And we're going to talk about the movies they're going to be up against. And it looks like all the movies that are up in there is probably going to be in good company. The director of I Know What You Did Last Summer is breaking down the trailer and is revealing whether or not Sarah Michelle Gellar will be coming back in the Prequel. We have some good news regarding Friday the 13th. Speaking of horror movie news, we have to talk about the American Music Awards with Kendrick Lamar leading leading with 10 nominations, and they said that Beyonce is leading in the country department. And speaking of Beyonce, we will be talking about her mother, Tina Knowles. Apparently, she dropped her new book, Matriarch. I got all the juicy details from the book, so we're definitely going to be talking about all the juicy stuff from it. And of course, I'm sure you're going to want to go and buy it, but we're going to just spill the tea up on here because that's what we do. We have to talk about that Shannon Sharpe is a mess. And all the little videos, I mean, the clips and the audio and stuff that's been leaked by Tony Busby and him with the race play. And I have some clips from Cameron and even Stephen A. Smith who are weighing in on this whole situation. So we're going to play those clips. Plus, Taylor Swift and Hugh Jackman might be getting subpoenaed in this Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni legal war mess, whatever the hell you want to call it. The Real Housewives of Hollywood, Real Housewives Hollywood Demons. I happened to watch it last night. Well, actually earlier today. What am I talking about last night? I watched it earlier today. The one I watched was the one about the Housewives because I was like, ooh, this is going to be a juicy one. And they started spilling tea on what actually got Teresa and Joe in jail, and it has nothing to do with Joe Gorga. So the Gorgas have been vindicated. So we're going to break that down and a whole bunch of other stuff. Plus, Justin Bieber. His friend is literally saying that he might be in a cult. And so we'll talk about that. Tank dropped his list of R&B vocalists. He basically said R. Kelly is a better singer than Usher. He said Usher is a better singer than R. Kelly, pretty much. And the people ate him up in the comments. We're going to talk about it, his favorite males, females, that sort of thing. And we have to talk about Jojo Siwa, who says she ain't a lesbian no more. We're going to got some good news for the Boulay brothers in Dragula and all the other iterations of the Dragula franchise. And of course, well, I would say, of course, I didn't know this. I don't think a lot of us knew this, but they dropped the All-Stars 10 Queen list today. But we're going to break it down today, which is, it's coming up in, what, like 3 weeks? We're getting a new season of Drag Race All-Stars 10. So yeah, that's all happening. And they dropped the Meet the Queens today. And we'll just break it on down to the 18 queens who will be vying for that crown and to be in the Drag Race Hall of Fame. So we got all that and a whole lot more. So before we get to these, this plethora of topics, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll also be putting timestamps after the live show. I always say during. How am I going to do it during when I'm talking and doing production stuff? I'm a one-man band. So yeah, I'll be dropping timestamps later on once the live stream is done, so that way those who come in and watch the replay can just click over to whatever topics they want to hear and then skip over the banter. So let me hit my banner and we'll get to your comments after we're done with the first topic. So let's get into and our first topic is Sinners. After all the drama and stuff that's been surrounding Sinners and, the backhanded comments from the Hollywood Reporter, from Variety, from a bunch of people on social media, a couple of critics making their little commentary, I put up a damn near 30-minute breakdown of Sinners and not necessarily a spoiler type situation, but with all the criticism and stuff, it did warrant that because, when I do this show, I like to give y'all nuance. I'm not trying to give y'all some TikTok 2-second, get to the point type situation. Whenever it comes to stories like this is not something that you could just spew in 2 minutes. It literally is a whole breakdown of the situation. So if y'all interested in seeing that clip, you could definitely, or that segment, but that's basically what it is at this point. I do have it up on the channel, but in this situation, it's like, yeah, one of the main concerns that I was wondering about is like, yeah, we know they're going to make their money back and all this other stuff. They already, the budget is 90 million. They've so far grossed a little bit over 60 million. And so, yeah, they're on their way to make the budget back. But I was wondering how long was it going to take them to make the budget back? Because, it always boils down to the second week. Everybody gets so, people, it's cute or whatever when it's the opening weekend. Everybody wants that great smash opening weekend type bragging rights. But I feel, in my opinion, the real deal is when you get to that second week, how much of the percentage of the drop there will be a drop in the second week gross. So Variety look like they trying to do a little penance for getting, for the little side comment or the little snideness that they put out there. So now it looked like y'all trying to get y'all a little redemption on. And yeah, they're basically talking about how much that the movie is looking to make this weekend, and it's about and what people saying it should make about $30 million to get up there with already making their money back. They're talking about it's going to make between 25 and 30 million. So the box office performance of Sinners, has generated plenty of discussions, especially related to how much it made compared to its budget. But it's already a success story that Hollywood should be celebrating because, like I said, with Cinema Score is the first R-rated movie in a long time that I believe in ever. They said an R-rated movie that has gotten a perfect cinema score, or a horror film, I believe they said, would get a perfect cinema score, which was like an A. And it's starting a lot of conversation regarding like race and things of that nature, and music and so many other things. So now after seeing the filmmaker do several IP films, a big part of the excitement behind Sinners is its existence as a big budget genre film that is wholly original. And it seems like a lot of people are responding to it. And I did see that Ryan Coogler did put out like a big, like a long, lengthy letter where he was showing so much gratitude for the fact that people went out to see this this movie that is deeply personal to him. So, and saying that a lot of people are responding to it. So he is wholly appreciative, even, with the shade, but that comes with the territory. So Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan's R-rated vampire thriller is expected to enjoy another huge weekend with 25 to 30 million in its sophomore frame. Now, last weekend, Sinners opened to 48 million, marking the biggest debut for an original film since 2019. So far, the horror film has generated $55 million domestically and $71 million internationally. So look, it made more money overseas than it had in this own country. So what does that say? So when y'all run around with this argument, some of y'all, who you are, that like to run around and say, well, Black movies don't sell overseas. Well, why the hell did it make $71 million internationally then? And I feel like at the same time, y'all could deny it to the cows come home, some of you clear folks that like to sit up there and use a little racial microaggression like we dumb. You could just show this receipt, be like, oh, so we don't sell overseas? People aren't interested in interesting original IPs if it's not like talking down to your audience and there's a genuine, it just comes across as like in a genuine way, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, so the production budget, as I said, was $90 million. So yeah, it's on its way to make the money, but look, they said it's already made like $71 million. So $30 million already made its budget back by week 2. So all you people that was crowing over there with your negativity, I guess now somebody needs to fry up some crow or bake it, or grill it. I don't know how whatever your heart's desire or how you prefer it. Put it on a plate, get you a knife and fork, get you a little napkin, put it in your shirt, and you need to start eating crow. Because now y'all out here looking like boo-boo the fool. So now in terms of new releases, Ben Affleck's The Accountant 2 is aiming for 20 million to 25 million from 3,610 theaters. Amazon MGM is backing the sequel to 2016's The Accountant, which opened at 24.7 million and became a surprise hit, ending its theatrical run with $155 million globally. When some people would say that that's not necessarily, that the movie, that The Accountant really didn't do that well, because I was like, it took y'all a long time. Like damn near 10 years to make this movie. Because it came out in 2016. It's like, yeah, it took y'all almost 10 years to make a sequel. Now, Gavin O'Connor returned to direct the R-rated Accountant 2, which picks up as Affleck's forensic accountant Christian Wolf teams up with his estranged brother, played by John Bernthal, to track down mysterious assassins after uncovering a deadly conspiracy. Critics have praised the sequel with Variety's Owen Gleiberman. Oh, I remember when he used to be at Entertainment Weekly, saying the follow-up film improves upon the first. In his review, he recalled The Accountant 2 an agreeably loopy, hyperviolent good time. And I've heard great things about Accountant 2, and I definitely want to check it out. But I feel like I need to rewatch The Accountant, and I actually bought it. So I definitely feel like I need to check out The Accountant 2 before I run off and decide to go see this new movie. Because I just want to refresh my memory, especially if y'all talking about that it takes place directly after, or picks up directly after the first film. Anna Kendrick was in the first film. By the way, I don't know if y'all care, but yeah, Anna Kendrick was in the first film. So, and then it said The Accountant 2 will compete for second place on box office charts with Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, which Disney is re-releasing for I was like, Revenge of the Sith? Now, old that movie? But they said it's coming out in the theater for its 20th anniversary. But would anybody want to see that? Because first of all, quiet as it's kept, a lot of us didn't like Star Wars 1, 2, and 3. We prefer 4, 5, and 6. So it's 4, 5, and 6, episode 4, episode 5, episode 6, and Andor. All the rest of them, y'all have been trash. I don't particularly care about the first 3, and I don't care about 7, 8, 9. So I don't even acknowledge all of those because those movies were just terrible. But if people want, I guess, for the nostalgia, because that's what in the kind of climate that we're in now, if that's what y'all want to go for, then be my guest. So they said that they're basing this off of advanced ticket sales. So the space opera sequel is expected to generate a sizable $20 million to $22 million over the weekend. So it literally looks like a lot of people are interested in going to the movies, because if Sinners is about to do well and The Accountant 2 is doing well, and an old movie like Revenge of the Sith is about to do well, I'm like, damn, everybody's going to be out in the theaters this week. Maybe it is making a comeback, because look, 2025 has been a little shaky in regards of theatrical releases. We've been talking enough about it on the show, and then they've been mentioning it as of late, that there was a lot of movies that didn't really do well in the beginning of the year. Where was it? The Wolfman didn't do all that well. Hard Eyes did okay, which is about to come out on Netflix in May. In case y'all didn't know, if you haven't seen Hard Eyes, wait a couple of more weeks. I think it's like May 8th. I believe it's around that time. May 8th, May 9th. Same day, same time, I believe it's RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars 10. If y'all want to wait around that time to see Hard Eyes, just wait. If you got Netflix, just wait around until next month to go see it. And then what was it, Companion, and so many other movies that was coming out didn't really do all that well at the box office. So now it just seems like, since Sinners has been the kickoff for, well, actually, not Sinners, I would say Minecraft. Like, ever since Minecraft came out, now everybody, I feel like, is in the mood to go to the theater. So now, the next movie that they're talking about is going to do well as well. You know, I've been trying to, is Until Dawn, which I keep forgetting that this damn movie is coming out. And it said it's targeting $8 million to $10 million from 3,000 venues. The movie, which cost $15 million, is inspired by the video game of the same name, and it follows a friend group trapped in a Groundhog Day-esque time loop as they are stalked and murdered by, a mass killer, only to wake up to find themselves back at the beginning of the same evening. So I've been hearing great things about that too, which was surprising me, because I was like, I don't know, this might be a throwaway slasher film. But I've been hearing things that the movie's gonna be good too. And they're talking about 8 to 10 million. That's not necessarily bad, because of the budget is $15 million. Plus, I'm sure that where they probably do like another $1 million or $2 million to spend on marketing, they'll make their money back. Even if they don't make it back in the theaters, which I think they will, due to word of mouth. I do feel that VOD and that sort of thing, they'll recoup the money. So if you when you do horror movies on a small budget, they'll make their money back. Now, they also mentioned A24's fantastical The Legend of Ochi is expected to bring in single digits from 1,150 venues in its domestic debut. So like I said, it looks like that a lot of people gonna be out in the movies now, and they talking about the box office is slowly regaining steam, which means that revenue is 5% ahead of last year, while still trailing 29% behind the pre-COVID 2019. So I do feel like that things are getting back to normal. We do have other movies that are going to be coming out in the matter of weeks, especially in May, which we have Thunderbolts coming out on May 2nd, which I've heard great things because they did fan screenings, which I'm pissed off about because I completely forgot to go and do the whole fan screening thing, because I did the fan screening event with Captain America Brave New World. I wanted to be like, because I know Kips Bay does it a lot. So I wanted to do it for Thunderbolts, and I completely forgot to get my ticket for that whole situation. So there's that movie. Then we have Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Then y'all got Lilo and Stitch coming out. So there's a lot of movies that's coming out in May, and then I do feel like it's going to be a good year so far, 2020, because a lot of movies got delayed too and pushed into 2025. So I think it's going to do relatively well. So all those people that was out there complaining about Sinners, it's like, relax, because it looks like the movie's doing well. But there was this one tweet that I saw, because we definitely need to celebrate, Sinners. I'm going hard for this damn movie, even going as far as to say that I hope it gets nominated for Best Picture, Oscar, multitude of Oscars, not Best Costume Design and music, or screen or whatever. None of that, none of the little side stuff. Like it deserves to be in the same conversation of Best Picture. So, Academy, don't play with me. So one person tweeted, and this person's name is Zay. Okay, it's Zay. Okay. They said this. They posted this tweet that really resonated with me, and it says, "Sinners is proof that exploring Black trauma through film can actually be very powerful and rewarding when done with intention. It acknowledges Black excellence and Black struggle in the same breath, and I think that's why it's connecting so well with people." And it's like, yeah, we go through, and that's why I love the fact of it, the complexities of what it's like to be Black in America and the history of the culture. And so that's what I love about the movie. And it's not just like this little throwaway, oh, it's a vampire movie. Then it's like From Dusk Till Dawn. And it's like the Black version of From Dusk Till Dawn. With that, whatever that other moron that we talked about yesterday had to say, kind of being dismissive, calling it basically, he basically refers to From Dusk Till Dawn as a Latino vampire movie, which I'm like, it's not. It happens to have Aztec vampires in it. But for the most part, it's pretty much about these white brothers who happen to end up at a strip club that's full of Aztec vampires. So it's like I just can't when people don't pay attention to like that aren't as when they're about as deep as a pond whenever they're watching certain movies or whatever the case is. So shout out to all these films that's going to be coming out this weekend. And my question is for you guys. Which movies will y'all be checking out this weekend? Will y'all be seeing Sinners again? I already saw it twice. I might go see it again. So will you be seeing Sinners? Will you be seeing Until Dawn? Will you be seeing The Accountant 2? Funny enough, I want to see all those. Well, I've already saw Sinners, but I definitely want to see Accountant 2. Because I like Ben Affleck. And shout out to Ben Affleck, who recently did he did an interview. And I saw Pink News posted it where he was talking about that I think he kissed a dude in Chasing Amy or something or another, and was talking about how he wishes that he could do that scene over again, because when he was younger at the time, there was this internalized homophobia that he was dealing with, that he didn't feel that he fully committed to doing that scene. But he's older, he's matured, and now he's come to, he's like, if I could, I would do that whole scene. And I think it's probably because he got a non-binary child with Jennifer Garner. So I think that's probably why he's kind of opened his eyes a little bit more, and being in a relationship with Jennifer Lopez, who also has a non-binary child. So I think like when you have queer people in your family and being in Hollywood, I think it opens your eyes up a little bit to being more empathetic to people's struggles and things of that nature. So I think that's why he was probably feeling the way he was feeling. But I don't want to speak for him, but that's just my speculation. But anyway, so I ask all of you, which films are you going to go see? What do you think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. All right now, so let's go on up and see what the people are saying. Onyx is in the building, says happy All Stars 10 reveal day. Say that 10 times fast. Were you by chance nearby? No, I was not. I found out about Lord being at Washington Square Park today when I was doing the story. The story's on my website. I thought about doing it as a story, but I was like, there's no real story there. The fact of the matter was, she did Washington Square. She popped up at Washington Square Park. The police shut it down because they said she didn't get the proper permits. And you want to know something? If I was in a position like Lord, I would have done the same thing. Like, I love that old guerrilla style, pop up thing. Just put out a speaker, step on top of a box or whatever, and just play my new song for my fans. And all the little hipsters that show up. So everybody probably came out from Brooklyn to go to Washington Square Park, which is in the West Village, by the way, and premiere my new song. I think that's a cool way to go about it. So shout out to her. I'm looking forward to hearing the new album whenever it comes out. I hate to be Katy Perry to have a law made basically to protect singers selling properties. Yep, child, look. Katy Perry is a demon. So I was shocked to hear that, but I was not surprised. White people hating it, saying how come a movie isn't made for y'all got a movie made about y'all. Y'all got a bunch of goddamn movies. Why is it that whenever we have something or people of color, nobody put first of all, clear folks, those of y'all, and I'm talking about the clear ones that's mad. I'm talking directly to y'all. Why are y'all always upset whenever someone goes and makes something that people resonate with, and that when Black people watch a film on screen that they feel makes them feel empowered, that makes them feel like, you know what, I'm proud to be my culture. I'm proud to be, because white people have gone through society and life trying to turn Black folks against each other. That whole crab in the barrel type stuff. So they could be pissed off. If you want to wallow in your white guilt and be mad because someone made a movie and you're being reminded of the atrocities of what your ancestors did, then that's a gripe you got to deal with. That ain't got shit to do with us. So, y'all got a bunch of damn movies, and this is what pisses me off too. That whenever people of color actually get the space and the ability and the money to make something for us by us, white people, where's ours? Fuck you mean, where's yours? How many white directors out here get to make movies all the time, gets to screw up, and continue to get opportunities? If this movie bombed at the box office, Ryan Coogler would not be getting the same energy that a lot of, and afforded the same opportunities that a lot of these white folks do. So y'all got plenty of movies out there. And every time when we want to get included in things, it's woke, DEI, all the little microaggressions y'all like to throw out there. So why is it that when we said we want to be included in things, y'all want to call it woke, but then when we create things, y'all mad because y'all not included? You can't have it both ways. And if you want something, get out there, pick up a goddamn camera, and learn how to write a script. I mean, I went to film school, so I know how to do all that stuff. So pick up all the things you need to pick up and figure out how you can make your little movie. Really? You never heard of the first Accountant movie? Well, it did come out like 10 years ago. And I like movies like that, but I was like, I totally forgot about it. But yeah, it was like, I liked the first Accountant movie. It's been a while since I've seen it. But yeah. Oh, is it? I don't know. I meant to take a gander over at Peacock. But if it's up there, I'll definitely check it out. And I told y'all, Companions on HBO Max. It says people now stay a hermit during winter. Yeah, that's me. I hate the cold. I hate being outside in the cold weather. And I feel like as I get older, I really feel like I'm going to be one of those people that want to move somewhere tropical the older I get. Like, I'm going to want to leave New York because it's so cold. And I'm getting a little irritated with the cold weather. I like being I'm more of a tropical kid, or more like, I like to be in warm climates. And that's probably because I was born in the summer. So that's probably why I prefer that over New York. And then the New York weather, it messes up my skin. Like, I gotta like recover the skin on my hand, because and I feel like it's because of the cheap soap too. Like, the cheap soap that they be having, no shade, MSG charge, soap is cheap. Like, when I be going to the bathroom and I wash my hands, which some of y'all people are nasty because y'all don't wash your hands. I be seeing when y'all directly walk out the bathroom after y'all finish touching your meat and potatoes and taking a leak. Y'all don't be washing your hands. That's gross. But anyway, so And when I be washing my hands and stuff, it's like my skin got damaged and stuff. It's between them and when I go to the gym and wash my hands. So y'all, they be using that little cheap liquid soap. I think they all do it. So yeah, when it's warm out, but a lot of people want to go out, but I'm hoping and praying that yeah, because it's warm out and things are happening that with our economy and everything happen, you know, who's currently running this country, that people will be able to still go out. Like I'm a little nervous too because I feel like tourism is definitely it plays into my neck of the woods. Like whenever we do like Knicks games and things of that nature, we do get a lot of tourists that come to see those type of games. With concerts, we do get all people from all walks of life. So I'm hoping it doesn't affect me financially. But I think we're all going to be hurting. So the mermaid's in the building. As a horror fan, it's happening again. Slashers trend is dying as new audiences are happening. Are they dying though? Because so far it seems like people are liking slashers. Until Dawn has Michael Cimino. He must have lost his muscles, which I read he felt was a well, no, he's still got body. I mean, he be posting them photos and stuff on social media. He not like he wasn't like Alan Ritchson ripped, but he has body. They're doing a lot of horror movies, but they aren't scary anymore. There's a lot, yeah. I kind of like the horror comedy type stuff. Like Freaky or you know stuff in that context. Terrifier also, but Terrifier would just be too gross at times. Like it, and I do be laughing at some of the stuff, but yeah, they do. It can be a little overkill. My mom says she wants to see Wolfman, so I'll watch it with her later. And tomorrow we're gonna. I kind of want to see the amateur, but I said I'll wait till that comes out on streaming. That wasn't something I wanted the rest of the movies to see. I mean, I like Rami Malek, but no shade. Rami, you about to be typecast because you literally look like every character you play is Mr. Robot. So I don't know. I was like, I'll just stay home and wait. Wolfman, I did hear mixed reviews, which is why I was hesitant to even go see it in the theater. I was like, I'll wait for streaming because I heard it's not that good. But I was like, I'll sit in my house and watch it. Just like I'm glad I didn't go to the theater to watch Nosferatu because I'd have been pissed. I told you I was bored to death watching that damn movie. Being skinny is in, but I'm tired of being skinny. I want to start going. Well, you know, so my twink era. I could have figured you was skinny, but yeah, just because I was hearing a story that they were saying that a lot of people trying to I'll be out here looking like Timothy Chalamet. So y'all want to be 30 years old looking like y'all 12? Like after a while, people gonna get tired of that. It's like yeah, youth is in and it's cute or whatever, but I don't want to be 35 and still looking like Tom Holland or Timothy Chalamet and looking like a damn twink. And then it's like y'all still, you know, you still putting me in movies where I'm playing like I'm still in high school. This ain't 21 Jump Street. It's I know why horror movie isn't scary anymore. As a fan, it's hard to scare me. They had some look. We in a real life horror show, so no shade. It is hard to scare people. So yeah, I mean, and then plus as much horror movies as I watch, I become so numb to it. And I like a lot of the 80s type stuff. So I do be watching a lot of old horror films. I'm glad you look. I'm glad we on the same page. You said Nosferatu was really boring. Like atmosphere wise, the cinematography and everything, it looked great. But I was bored watching it, so it was watching me. Like it was literally on in the background while I was working. But I was bored to death watching that movie. Okay, y'all. So now let's move on and let's get into this. I know what you did last summer news. So yesterday we didn't premiere it because you know I want to start doing reaction videos and things, but you know these studios y'all be playing too much when it comes to when it comes to reaction and wanting to flag people videos. And I'm like, you know what? You know the amount of free promotion y'all get from us who review y'all stuff, but whatever. Maybe I'll do it on Patreon. So I noticed that last summer premiered its trailer yesterday. I gave my overall thoughts. I thought it was cute. I mean, cute in the sense of like, I'm looking forward to seeing the movie. It looks like a load of fun. There's no, you know, they're not exempt on the cheese. So I'm here for all the cheesiness of it. The overall camera is, and it was great to see Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt in the new in the trailer. And when her asking what did you do last summer, like it was a wink and a nod and we all got it and I was here for it. But one of the theories that everybody was talking about is that they were saying, you know, I even heard some people say, even Mike from We Watch a Movie, and I was like, first of all, it's not happening. And I'm glad that the director Jennifer Caton Robinson confirmed my exact theory because I had totally forgotten that because they was trying to, basically what he was trying to say was Sarah Michelle Gellar might be the killer. Sarah Michelle Gellar may be coming back into the film, but I'm like, how's she gonna come back into the movie? She can't be in hiding. We saw her body. She is dead. She even appears in the scene when Jennifer Love Hewitt closes herself in the little thing where they put like the fish, and it was like it was like one of those rooms in the boat that's full of ice. And then, when you go fishing, they throw the fish and all the other stuff down there so that way it stays fresh and everything. So by the time they get to the port, it doesn't, start getting spoiled and that sort of thing. So she traps herself in this room to try to get away from Ben Willis. And then we see the scene where she tries to back away from him trying to get in the thing. And then she's apparently trapped in the thing with two dead bodies. So we see Ryan Phillippe's dead body that comes out from the ice or slides down from the ice. And then also Helen's character, Helen, played by Sarah Michelle Gellar. So we see their bodies. And I think maybe it was because some people haven't seen the movie in a long time that they actually forgot that she is dead. But Jennifer, as in Caton, not Love Hewitt, basically broke it down and said the reason, basically broke it down, the trailer. So she said, visually for me, it was about going back to my biggest touchstone for this movie, Jaws. This is what she told Entertainment Weekly. She said, I was like, I want beautiful colors, beautiful setting, beautiful water, red blood. For me, it's kind of like a throwback. And what I hope is what it feels like it's fresh in its nostalgia. But the Do Revenge writer-director says that she's not trying to make a carbon copy of other horror blockbusters, saying the following. She said, I really wanted it to kind of stand on its own and have an identity visually, and I hope that it feels present in the film and makes people excited to see it. Well, I think when you make movies and stuff, people are always going to be inspired by some by certain films. And for her to say that Jaws was a reference, especially because, it's summertime. And I know I had this airhead moment yesterday. I was like, wait a minute. So why would they put I Know What You Did Last Summer and release it in the summer? I'm like, duh. After the fact, I'm like, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Why would you want to release that in the winter? Like, logically, it wouldn't make sense. So, duh. And of course, it has to come out in the summertime. So, she went on to, what was it? Oh, and then she also mentioned this. She said that there was someone that she had worked with in the past that she wanted to get into this movie. She said she tried to get Maya Hawke, but we couldn't work it out with our schedules. And Maya Hawke, for those who didn't know, who also was on Stranger Things, she is the daughter of Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke. She appeared in the movie Do Revenge. Sometimes directors like working with people they've worked with in the past and put them in their movies. So she couldn't make it in the film. One of the things I'm really hoping that Quentin Tarantino decides to do, since we talk about Maya Hawke, can we get a sequel to Kill Bill? Like, where's Kill Bill Volume 3? And we can get Maya up in there to play BB alongside her mother, Uma. So she said, I mean, the big one, I try relentlessly. Oh, they're talking about Sarah Michelle Gellar, because this is the part. So she says, I mean, the big one, I try relentlessly and she's dead. This is what she said, referring to Do Revenge alum and original I Know What You Did Last Summer star Sarah Michelle Gellar. The trailer above, briefly, as you know, shows Gellar's Helen in a photo frame, which is on right next to her tombstone. So yes, she is dead. She said, I tried, I harassed her, but she's dead. This is what Robinson said while joking. So I tried to picture some crazy-ish too. I was like, what if it's like you weren't dead and you're actually alive, but in hiding? And Sarah's like, I was on ice. I was the most dead a person could be. You can see my frozen body. I was like, yeah, but what if? And she said, I'm dead. I'm Sarah Dead Gellar. So Sarah Michelle Gellar is even being self-deprecating with the humor and all that. I was like, yes, sis, I'm not alive. And yes, she was on set and everything, but it's because her husband Freddie Prinze Jr. is in the movie. That's where they met. So yeah, it makes sense that she would be on set hanging out and that sort of thing. And remember, she had gotten in trouble at one point because she spilled a little tea in regards to that. But look, as I said before, I'm looking forward to seeing the movie. July. I don't want to rush the summer, but I'll patiently wait until the film comes out. We waited damn near 25 years to be exact, for I Know What You Did Last Summer, the third chapter in the franchise, because we don't count the I Always Know. I don't count the TV show that was on Amazon that I believe lasted one season. So yeah, this is a proper sequel. I'm also hoping that we get Carla up in there somewhere. And if we don't, then maybe we'll get her in the sequel to this I Know What You Did Last Summer film, if they'll find a way to bring back Jennifer Love Hewitt in some other way. But I don't know. Maybe it is probably good that they try to find a way to pass on the torch. But if they got another great idea, I'm here for it. But I'm just going to focus on this one for now. So I'll say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of what Jennifer Caton had to say about I Know What You Did Last Summer and debunking the theory that we will be getting Sarah Michelle Gellar to make an appearance in the film? And I'm just like, it wouldn't logically make sense because if then she's alive, then so is Ryan Phillippe. And then so would be Johnny Galecki. I guess nobody died at the hands of Ben Willis. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, so funny enough, I think the same day that she's doing hers, if the playoffs happen, I will say this, if the Knicks make it to game 5, it will be on the same day at the Garden. So yeah, whenever it's playoff season, it's really hard for concerts to happen because I believe also on the 29th there was supposed to be a concert that's happening, and I believe that's going to get postponed. So it happens. I mean, it's happened before when I've been at the Garden where we had to postpone a show because of the playoffs, but it happens. It's like, yeah, they get top priority over any concert. She's focused on a lot of things. She has the Buffy reboot that's supposed to be coming. Don't know when they're going to start filming that, but she's also right now, I don't know if I shouldn't say right now, but they began principal photography. We talked about this yesterday on the sequel to Ready or Not, which is called Ready or Not, Here I Come. And she's in it with Sean Hannity from The Faculty. And she's also in it with, Elijah Wood, Kevin Durant. There's a bunch of people, Catherine Newton. There's a bunch of people in the film. So she's going to be real. Sarah Michelle Gellar is busy. And I hope that we get her back for more seasons of Dexter because she was good on, what she was doing in the show. So I'm looking forward to seeing her in season 2, whenever that comes along. Well, Patrick Dempsey, if y'all already seen that, if you watched the first season, he ain't coming back. Okay, so now I guess they're doing a Demon 3 and they're using a TikTok app to spread the demons worldwide. Are they? I mean, who made the first Demon? Well, wasn't it Dario Argento? Well, he did. So if they do make a Demons 3, hopefully it doesn't suck. Because I do love the first 2. He said the first Demons used a mask, the second was a TV show, and in true Italian horror fashion, the actors know they're gonna do makeup. No CGI. They were told Dario and Bava use. Well, yeah, they do use practical effects. In this day and age, you definitely can use practical effects and stuff with that sort of thing. But spreading it through a social media type situation, I think that's clever. Because they've always did it through some sort of, get ready for long days and long nights, and the budget is $2 billion, and that 303K. Wait, 330,000. So the budget is $330,000, and that's enough for them to make a. Well, I guess the Italians know how to budget their films better than us, apparently. I am too. That was another way I totally forgot. Isn't that coming out next month? Yeah, Final Destination. I'm surprised they mentioned that. Yeah, that's coming out next month. I would have been upset about Kylie too if I lived in Denver. Still, Madonna didn't even go there till the Sticky and Sweet tour. Well, I'm sure Kylie won't let her fans down and she'll reschedule. And what they'll probably be is, yeah, we'll honor the tickets for the day before. She decides to do a show the day before. But look, the good thing is you do a day before, you get that day that you're supposed to do off, and then you move on to the next thing. So I would do that. I would be like, okay, let's schedule for the day before. And those tickets that say this date, they will just have to honor it the next day. They know how to do all of that at the, in these arena type situations. I said, let me see if I closed the bar. All right, so now, last but certainly not least, well, hold on. I was like, did that even make sense? I don't know. I was reading one of my headlines. Let me actually fix that. Because I was like, I don't know, for some reason that Kendrick Lamar thing that I posted, it just didn't make sense. So I had to like do a little, tweaking. All right. So now, last but not least, let's get into our final horror movie news story. So y'all been hearing stories and stuff about Crystal Lake. We're supposed to be getting a prequel series. It has been off delayed. They had oh my god, I forgot the guy's name. The one that was behind Hannibal and a bunch of other programs. I think he also did he do American Gods too? He produced that show. But anyway, so he was initially supposed to be doing the thing. They worked on the scripts. They told him out it was over budget. He ended up parting ways. They brought in somebody new. So they've been trying to develop it. It feels like for almost, a year. But now we have new news, which they're basically stating that from Brad Caleb Kane, who is the new showrunner, and he's also behind Welcome to Derry. Sidebar: what is going on with Welcome to Derry? Because that should have been out by now. I mean, I've been hearing rumblings and stuff about HBO Max. Like, what's going on with the Pennywise prequel series? So, yeah. So, in regards to the whole Friday the 13th type situation, he did take to his social media and he's updated the fans on the production on his Instagram. So, he posted a photo of a Crystal Lake production draft script on IG and announced that the show's production offices are now open up for business. Now, based on the characters created by the original Friday the 13th writer Victor Miller, the script in the photograph was written by Brad Caleb Kane himself. And a copyright is registered to Camp Blood LLC. It's likely this means that pre-production has begun with production gearing to kick off soon. And just for context, I was like, I'll show y'all the initial script. So yeah, that's all the information that we have on this right now. They basically just he posted the script saying that the offices are open, we're good to go. So I'm thinking within the next month, maybe or less, they'll kick off production, which is, I guess, a great time because summer's right around the corner. This is a great time to post it, and then we could probably have the first episode of the new season up by October of this year. So, for those of you who are not aware, but we talked about it on the show, Linda Cardellini is playing Mrs. Voorhees in Crystal Lake for A24 and Peacock, described as a mother who has given up a singing career to raise a special needs child and takes a dark turn when she loses her son. Now, her son, of course, is none other than Jason Voorhees. Now, Crystal Lake is being described as an expanded prequel to the original Friday the 13th franchise, featuring both Jason Voorhees and his mother, Pamela. As mentioned, the streaming service will begin the Friday the 13th franchise will bring the franchise back to life after I can't even believe that I'm going to say this. It's been 16 years since we've gotten Friday the 13th on the big screen or any kind of screen, because the last Friday the 13th movie we got was the reboot with Jared Padalecki from Supernatural. That was the last one. And it's been 16 years and they've still going through some legalities and stuff like that. And, as somebody who is a child of the 80s and grew up watching a lot of Friday the 13th and being freaked out over Jason and all the other stuff. And as I've grown older, it's like, of course, I'm not scared of him anymore. But when I was a kid, it was always Jason, Michael Myers, and Pinhead always scared the ish out of me. We're finally getting some motion on this, but I'm hoping that what they're going to do for inspiration is pretty much just do Bates Motel in reverse, where it was Norman that was the nut, and then his mother, she was kind of enabling him in some sort of way. She was a little twisted her damn self, but Pamela was more or less the killer before Jason was. Jason didn't really start killing until his mama got her head chopped off. So I'm actually, as I said, looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to seeing what Linda Cardellini will be bringing to the franchise in regards to playing Jason's mother and what direction they're planning on taking. But I really hope that if they're going to do this as a series, that they will take more of a page out of the Bates Motel Handbook, which I actually liked that show when it was on. I didn't really stick around long enough to I guess I'll say I didn't catch the final season. I still haven't watched that. So I might have to give that show a rewatch. And so that way I could finish the whole thing. But yeah, after a while, I was I think it was when I was going through my gypsy period, when I was traveling around a lot, I lost sight of the show and catching up and, watching the full season and stuff. So I want to ask all of you, what do you guys think of this story in regards to the latest regarding Friday the 13th? There's really not a lot to speak about in regards to this, but it seems like a lot of people are really excited that this show is finally getting up and running. And I'm really hoping that the show is actually pretty good and that, we can finally get Jason back on our screens. But it'll probably be a while because this is taking place at the time when, I guess it's a prequel of sorts. This has to be when Jason was a kid or something or other. I guess we won't know until we see the damn, the trailer, whatever the case is, on where they're planning on going with it. But I'm excited. So, my horror movie fans, definitely weigh on this in the comments down below. I was like, hold on, let me make sure I got all my windows closed. Let's see what y'all are saying in the comments. Vince Vaughn. Paying the lawyer fees for Mariah Carey's 600. What was that? First of all, did y'all hear? Did y'all see them? There was a picture of. I don't know if it was real or not, but I did see some. There was a story. Speaking of Vince Vaughn, that he was at the White House with Trump, and he took a picture, and they said that they were trolling him with like a parody of Wedding Crashers and that sort of thing. Then why do a frivolous lawsuit? You just proved it was for money. I don't know. I'm confused about this whole. Well, you said Vince Vaughn, songwriter. I was sitting there thinking about Vince Vaughn, the actor. But yes, since I don't know who Vince Vaughn, the songwriter, is, I guess I will talk about Vince Vaughn, the. But anyway, speaking of music, let's get into this story. So apparently, the American Music Awards were, nominations dropped earlier today. And I guess we could give a huge congratulations to none other than Kendrick Lamar, who received a whopping 10 nominations. That's about to piss Drake off. So the Not Like Us star is up for 10 awards, including Album of the Year, Song of the Year, and an Artist of the Year category, where he'll face competition from Ariana Grande, Frappuccino, Billie Eilish, Remover, Chappell, Rowan, Post Office, Malone, Sabrina, John Carpenter, Taylor, Swifty Swift, and a whole lot more. Now, Malone followed with 8 nominations, while Eilish and first-time nominees Roan and Shaboozey each earned 7. Now, of course, we got Benson Boone, Doechii, Gracie Abrams, Jelly Roll, Lola Young, The Marias, Rose, Teddy Swims, Tommy Rickman, Tyler, or as I like to call her, Tired, and Artist of the Year nominees Carpenter and Zach Bryan are also first-time nominees this year. Now, while the Good Luck Babe artist didn't have the most nominations, she is the only artist nominated in all 3 new categories. And yeah, they also have new categories, which I'm thinking for this sake, because I don't want to go down when we do the whole nominee breakdown situation. I don't want to go through all the whole nominees because that can get boring, but we'll focus more on like the new nomination categories that they've come up with. So it looks like to me that the AMAs is trying to expand their portfolio, because I remember once upon a time they used to do the nominations. They would pick like 3 artists, and I was like, okay, it looked like y'all put no effort in the American Music Awards. But now it looks like they're trying to rebrand the American Music Awards. It feels a little more diverse versus it always seemed like it was pop, country, and rock, and maybe a little hip hop, but it was like safe. But now it seems like the American Music Awards look like they're trying to compete with the Grammys. So yeah, they have new categories, and that will be Album of the Year, Song of the Year, and Social Song of the Year. So now Swift, with 6 nominations, looks to extend her own record for the most AMA wins of all time, currently standing at a whopping 40. The Fortnite singer is also the current record holder for the most Artist of the Year wins, with 7, which she could extend if she takes the title again this year. Meanwhile, Post Malone and Beyonce are nominated in country categories for the first time. Yeah, and I'm actually cackling because that same energy y'all was giving Beyonce for being nominated in any country category and throwing shade, that energy was not reciprocated towards Post Malone, who also started out doing urban music. And then I guess when you've been able to squeeze all the juice out the orange or the lemon, now you want to run over back to your people and they welcome you with open arms. But this is why I said when it came down to what Beyonce was conveying with Cowboy Carter, and now if you go and see Sinners and what Ryan Coogler's story is regarding like music and the fact that they kind of go hand in hand, in my opinion. Now, fan voting is open now at voteamas.com and at AMA's profile on Instagram. Now, while much of the night is about trophies, it's even more so about music. And Jennifer Lopez, the night's host, will be one of the performers. Additional performers are still to be announced. So the only one that we know so far that's going to be performing is Jennifer. But if I really had to go out on a limb, I could definitely see that a lot of the people who are nominated will be shown. I don't know if Kendrick Lamar will be able to be there because Kendrick is currently touring with SZA. But I could definitely see Taylor Swift would show up to an envelope opening at this point. So I could see her showing up. Sabrina Carpenter, I believe she's also going to be doing one on tour soon too. But by the time the show airs, I'm sure they'll probably be there. But I could definitely see Post Malone. Damn, he about to go on tour too, because I got to put in my schedule for when I could, for me to work his actual show, and that's going to be at Citi Field. So I could definitely see like a Billie Eilish or a Chappell or any of these girls up there performing, but I don't want to start speculating because then I'm gonna be out here looking like I got egg on my damn face, and then they'll be like, "Oh no." But the American Music World, like I said, it does definitely feel like they're trying to compete with the Grammys in regards of the way that they're nominating. So let's go through a couple of them. So Artist of the Year, they have Ariana Grande, Billie Eilish, Chappell Roan, Kendrick Lamar, Morgan Wallen, Post Malone, Sabrina Carpenter, SZA, Taylor Swift, and Zach Bryan. Now this feel like the Oscars where you do Best Picture and they got like 10 people. I don't think they've ever done that with the AMAs. They've never had like this long list. Okay, so now they have new artists of the year that will go to Benson Boone, Chappell Roan, Gracie Abrams, Shaboozey, Teddy Swims, and Tommy Rickman. Now, the new category, which is Album of the Year, we have Beyonce's Cowboy Carter, Billie Eilish, Hit Me Hard and Soft, Chappell Roan, The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess, Charlie XCX, Brat, Gracie Abrams, The Secret of Us, Future and Metro Boomin, We Don't Trust You, Kendrick Lamar, GNX, Post Malone, F1 Trillion, excuse me, Sabrina Carpenter, Short and Sweet, and Taylor Swift, The Tortured Poets Department. Another new category they have, Song of the Year, which would be Benson Boone, his only song. I mean, he's been dropping a lot of other songs, but the only one people like is that Beautiful Things. Billie Eilish, Birds of a Feather. Chappell Roan, Good Luck Babe. Hosier, Too Sweet. Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, Die With a Smile. Post Malone featuring Morgan Wallen. Child, you can throw that damn song away. I Had Some Help. Sabrina Carpenter, Espresso, Shaboozey, A Bar Song, Tipsy. Speaking of songs, artists with only one damn song people know, and Teddy Swims, Lose Control. He's another one. Look, so we got 3 in the category where people only know about one damn song. Collaboration of the Year, Kendrick Lamar and SZA, Luther. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, Die With a Smile. Then we have Marshmello and Kane Brown, Miles on It. Post Malone featuring Morgan Wallen, I Had Some Help. Rose and Bruno Mars, Pata, Pata. And then we have Taylor Swift featuring Post Malone, Fortnite. These are so hard for me to choose, so that's why I'm just reading them to y'all. Now they have Social Song of the Year. This is the other new category. Chappell Rowana with Hot to Go. DJ, who's Joe? DJO? I don't know how you say that name. I ain't never heard of the person. In a Beginning. Then we have Doshi with Anxiety. Didn't she just release a music video for that song? Lola Young with Messy. Shaboozey, A Bar Song, Tipsy, and Tommy Rickman, $1 Million Baby. Now they have first favorite music video, Benson Boone, Beautiful Things, Karol G. I'm not even going to try to say what she says in Spanish. Es antes de hubiera conocido. Forgive me. My Espanol is el horrible. Okay. Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us, Lady Gaga, and Bruno Mars, Die With a Smile, Shaboozey, A Bar Song, Tipsy. Now, of course, now when I look at the favorite male pop artists, I'm like, I am so bored with the people in this category. The women one is way better. The men, they have Benson Boone, Bruno Mars, Hosier, Teddy Swims, and The Weeknd. Just crickets. Favorite female pop artist, Billie Eilish, Chappell Roan, Lady Gaga, Sabrina Carpenter, and Taylor Swift. And let's go to electronic, because that's the one I really care about. Then they got country album, country song, male hip hop artist, female. I mean, look, Kendrick and Drake is nominated in the same category alongside Eminem, Future, and Tyler the Creator, which I'm really looking forward to Tyler the Creator's show when that comes to MSG. I think he's doing two shows. I was going to say 2 nights, but I couldn't decide if I want to say 2 nights or 2 shows. Apparently, I chose 2 shows. Now, favorite female hip-hop artists, they took Doechii, Glorilla, Lotto, Megan Thee Stallion, and Sexy Red. Well, I could definitely see it's going to be between Doechii and Megan Thee Stallion, because those two have pretty much had a pretty significant career this year. I feel like Doechii more so than Megan Thee Stallion. Okay, so let's do one more because and then I got favorite male Latin artist, favorite female Latin artist, but I really care about and I gotta keep scrolling because it's like favorite dance electronic artist. This one was like weird because you only announced two actual electronic dance artists and the rest are DJs. So they picked Charlie XCX, David Guetta, John Summit, Lady Gaga, and Marshmello. So of course, Charlie and Lady Gaga are the only two that do like dance music. The rest of them are just like DJs. But anyway, that's all they have so far. Wait, hold on. Let me see what in regards to the Latin artists, because they do have Bad Bunny in there. So we'll just go through that and then we'll be done. Otherwise, I'll be sitting here reading all this all day. So favorite male Latin artists, they have Bad Bunny, Fade, Peso Pluma, Raul Alejandro, and Tito Double P. I could definitely see Bad Bunny walking away with that because he's the most popular. Although I do like Fade, I do like Raul Alejandro. They both put out really good albums. And Peso Pluma, I like him too. But if I had to choose, I would go with Bad Bunny. Now, favorite female Latin artists, Becky G, Karol G, Natti Natasha, Shakira, and Young Miko. And funnily enough, they do it with Karol G. Shout out to her. She has a new documentary that's coming out. I believe it's going to be out on Netflix. And they made that announcement yesterday. So congratulations to her. And congratulations to all the nominees. And so I ask all of you, what did you think of this story? Who do you see walking away with an AMA? Who are your favorites? Who do you feel was snubbed based off of who I mentioned? I mean, you can go and look up the whole list on my website, chrisavalon.com, to see the full list and be like, who do you feel was like overlooked, that sort of thing. It definitely feels like the American Music Awards is really trying to step it up production-wise, award-wise, and it seemed like they've revamped the award show a little bit because no shade, I really wasn't looking at the American Music Awards like that. Like I always felt like it just got stale. And so the only award show that I would really be watching would be the VMAs, even though the VMAs I feel is a little crunchy too, and the Grammys. Those were only things. But I feel like the award show type of format really wasn't given what needed to be given. But this year seems pretty interesting. So I guess I think I will be checking it out. And I think they're on CBS this year. They're not on ABC anymore. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I was like, I had to make sure I had all my windows closed. George Santos to be sentenced Friday. Is he eligible for? I didn't know he was going to jail. I was like, what'd he do? Oh, you're about the whole, what was it, like stealing money and stuff? Yeah. Look, first of all, you're an immigrant, or in Trump's case, a migrant. Migrant immigrant, same thing, you're Latino. So yeah, he about to ship your ass to Guantanamo, well, not Guantanamo Bay, to El Salvador. That's what about to send your behind with the other homosexual. But the other homosexual shouldn't even been sent over there. You just took like a homosexual barber, shipped him off to, this prison. And you talking about based off some tattoos. That's because the man ain't putting in the work nor thinking outside the box. Yeah, agreed. And it's like, because you know what? I believe that we're in this era now, performance-wise, where theater kids are sort of getting their just due. So people want pomp and circumstance on a stage. They don't want you just standing there with a band and a mic singing a song, and they're bored. They want flashiness. They want pyro. They want choreography. They want costumes. They want showmanship. And I feel like a lot of these men really aren't giving that. Like I would be bored Benson Boone, I've already seen Benson Boone perform live, so I already know what he gives. Like I don't know how many damn flips and aerial moves can you do while you holding your notes? Like that gets boring after a while. And he needs to kind of come up with a new gimmick, because while it's cute now because you're 22, you got to think about when you're 32 and when you're 42 and when you're 52. Trust and believe, you're not going to be doing no damn flips off no damn piano at no 62, because you're going to break something. And trust and believe, bones don't bounce back, when you're in your 40s. I mean, they'll bounce back a little bit. You be feeling the pain, but you be having a harder recovery versus when you're in your 20s, because your bones is fresh and, they're not all messed up, if you know what I'm saying. Trust and believe, because I be feeling them pains. But anyway, child, let's get into this mess. So let's move on to Shannon Sharpe. Where, I was out here kind of going in on Miss Mamas because I'm like, okay, this young girl with this man or whatever the case is. But then again, I should have been windmilling on Shannon Sharpe a lot more too, because I don't understand how you a man of a certain age, and what is he in his 50s, hunching somebody who is now 23, but you've been messing with her since she was, well, I think, what is she? Well, she's 22 now, but you was messing with her when she was 19. So when you in your 50s messing with somebody who's barely legal, yes, she is over the age of 18, but guess what? Her brain has not fully, her frontal lobe in her head, as I always talk about with the men, I'm going to talk about it with the women. If your brain has not fully developed, you should not be hunching nobody that's still slightly going through puberty and still coming into their womanhood, because y'all like them fresh, you like them young, you like them supple, and you like them stupid. Meaning, well, maybe I shouldn't say stupid. I'll just say naive, a little less than smart, a little wet behind the ears. Trust and believe, I've been there, where I've been a young buck who have messed with older people. I'll say older men, because as a homosexual, I've been with the older men. I've been with older women too, but for the most part, older men. And it's like a lot of times when you're an older person, you get with a young person, you know exactly why you're getting with them. It's because you know that you know more than them. You're way more experienced in a lot of what you do. So these young kids are just so young and happy and supple, and she's just so happy to be bagging a Shannon Sharpe. Of course, she's going to do whatever you want her to do. And so today, like a couple of hours ago before I went live with the show, Tony Busby, who I've been side-eyeing through a lot of this, because I'm like, yeah, with your whole thing, when you try to take down Jay-Z and the whole Diddy situation, and you can't practice law in New York for whatever godforsaken reason that you cannot practice law in New York, I kind of been side-eyeing him. I was like, okay, this feels like an opportunistic type situation and a possible money grab. And I'm still not taking my foot off the neck of that idea that, yes, I do agree that this may be a money grab. But then again, Shannon, you a dummy. In the words of my girl, Monique, you a dummy bitch for getting yourself caught up in this situation. So while I'm setting all that up, you had not Tony Busby, you had Shannon Sharpe, dumb lawyer, who, I'm sorry, you need to get rid of him because he don't know what the hell he's doing. Why the hell would you be out here revealing to us, John Q. Public, that the former football player, and the Hall of Famer, I should say, that he offered his accuser $10 million before she officially filed her lawsuit. So when you offer her $10 million, what it looks like to me is that you knew this was coming. You knew she had ammo and stuff on you. She was trying to blackmail you. You was trying to give her $10 million in hush money. And now you out here looking like Boo Boo the Fool. You know what? It's probably all them years you playing football, that damn CTE done fucked up your brain. I've already come to the conclusion I'm probably not going to be able to monetize this because the clips I'm going to play y'all is full of profanity. So I might as well just go in and let it have and contribute to the situation. Now, during the press conference, Davis, Shannon Sharpe's representative, provided more clarification surrounding the $50 million suit filed against his client for allegedly assaulting Gabriella Zuniga. Now, she went by a Jane Doe, but I told you they already leaked her name, and it was all over the blogs. Now, during a press conference, Davis shared more details surrounding Sharpe and the $50 million lawsuit against him by a woman with whom he's been involved with sexually in the past. Now, now they said that, Sharpe played in the NFL for the Denver Broncos, offered Zuniga at least $10 million to settle the case before she filed it. He went on to say that Sharpe, host of the popular sports podcast Nightcap, had mediation conversations with Zuniga about the potential case. However, they halted within the last month or so. Now, David said Zuniga suddenly, without warning, walked away from our offer. He said, adding that the filing was a big surprise. Probably because she was probably advised that it's like, no, file a lawsuit. You probably get a lot more out of this situation. Now, on Monday, April 21st, news broke that Zuniga, listed as Jane Doe, filed a $50 million lawsuit against Sharpe, alleging the NFL player assaulted and battered her. Tony Busby, a famed attorney known for his dismissal lawsuit against Jay-Z, is representing her. Now, in the suit, she did allege, but she also detailed in the beginning of their relationship, or the beginning of the relationship, which she said originated at a LA gym when she was 20 years old. Now, eventually, according to the document, Sharpe's alleged relationship with Zuniga became controlling and abusive. Which, I read you those text messages yesterday, she seemed to be down with the whole situation. Talking about that she want his black baby batter and that black dick and all that. I was like, yeah, there was a lot of race play, and that's another thing he's into too. That apparently this man is into race play, and you know what? I'm not going to judge it. Because unfortunately, they're up. Well, for you, or fortunately for you, like I'll say, if you like it, I love it. But ain't no way in hell I'm gonna be up in the bedroom and having some woman call me a ninja while we doing whatever freaky stuff that we doing in the bedroom. But if that's something that Shannon, dark and lovely behind, is into, then that's on him because he got to deal with that. But some people got their kinks, and you know what? Look. That's why I said, you know what? I'm going to just leave it as if you like it, I love it. Because I might say something that's going to piss some people off. But if you like it, I love it. I'm going to just stick with that. That's me saying, bless your heart. That's my version of bless your heart. So, yeah, now, the suit read, the moment he realized what he was doing, he grabbed her by the, he said the moment he realized what she was doing, because what she happened to be doing, they said that he allegedly threatened to unalive her when he learned that she was attempting to share her location with people on her phone. And said the moment he realized what she was doing, he grabbed her by the neck and told her, if you ever do that again, I will effing kill you. Now, after the filing went on, Zuniga claimed Sharpe allegedly R-worded her after she attempted to end their relationship following his infamous sex scandal on Instagram in 2024. And that was when, that video or audio, I should say, leaked of his phone happened to be on while he having, relations with a woman, because, them rumors was coming out that Miss Netta in Man Drag was a homosexual. And he ain't like the fact that them rumors was coming out that, he was out here doing homosexual things. And so he had to try to put that out there. And that's why I felt that it was a little calculated, that was what he was trying to do. He was trying to dispel the rumors. So he purposely put the phone on the thing to do it. But then again, the way I'm looking at it with Shannon Sharpe, Uncle Shay, you're not that bright. So then I have Tony Busby's Instagram post where they said that his firm filed a civil suit on behalf of a brave young woman who alleges that she was brutally assaulted by former NFL player Shannon Sharpe on multiple occasions. So, like I said before, I do believe that this is a money grab. This is a shakedown. But guess what? If Shannon Sharpe wasn't so dumb to put himself in this situation, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. Especially if you just signing a $100 million deal. So now it looks like, who knows, you may not be able to have a job for long, because they said this has been going on since January of this year. And when it said she's 22, so you've been 19. So like 3 years, these two been hunching, because you don't count the 19. So it was like, yeah, 20. She's 22, 3 years. Y'all been fooling along with each other. And you was complying with it all. But then I guess at this point, she was just like, I'm done. He wanted to keep the kink and all that other stuff going. And it's like, look, if a woman say that she done with doing the kinky stuff and the shenanigans and things, that and the other, then men, y'all need to learn to listen and comply. But to me, it just seems like, you know what? A lot of men, particularly like a Shannon Sharpe, and we hear so many stories about people that are in these public type of professions, or even just in places of power, excuse me, when you have not been taught how to deal with your sexual situations, like how you deal with getting in sexual situations with other people. And the fact that, yeah, you may have your kinks and stuff, but there needs to be a point where it's like, y'all need to respect the fact that, okay, if she's not into what you into, then you need to just cut your ties, go on to the next thing, and find somebody else who'll be willing to do what you do. So, yeah, they were talking about that things got ugly because then there was an audio recording that came out where Busby sent the TMZ of that Zuniga recorded, where she claimed that it features her having a conversation with him. And Zuniga, who I'm guessing is the voice, should be the female voice, you hear her saying, like, I don't know, anything I say, you're going to just like get mad at me and you're just going to hang up on me. So it looked like at the time that it was like, yeah, her being young, she was trying to please this man, which to me, no shade, but based off the audio that I heard, Shannon, it sounded like a lot of y'all get with these young people because it's easy to groom them and to manipulate them. And I'm sure like she was getting all of it. Look, I'm not saying she innocent in this either, because a lot of times when you young and you wet behind the ears, you think you know every damn thing. Because trust and believe, I was that age once and I was doing the same stuff where I thought I knew it all, where I thought I was smarter than the average bear. And it's like, no, when people are older, they've been around the world and and they know how to manipulate and make you feel like you're the most important person in the world, and they groom you at a certain point, and then they do the swoop down, and then before you realize it, you caught up in this whole tornado of sexual mess. I ain't saying it got that far for me, but I know like in those type of situations, the person that's older, they've been there, done that, wore the t-shirt, so they know what the hell they doing. And you probably thought, oh yeah, because I'm gonna get something out of it because I bagged me a Shannon Sharpe. He gonna take care of me. He gonna give me this. He gonna give me that. He gonna spoil me. He got money. We know how a lot of you girls who come from broken homes or whatever the case are, how y'all operate. But anyway, I do have the audio clip because I want y'all to hear it. What was kind of irritating was that there was so much dead air in between certain sequences, so it was kind of like, okay, sis, get to the goddamn point. But I want y'all to hear the clip, and then we will come back, and I was like, damn, where'd it go? Okay. And then we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
So what, Gabby?
Well, you're coming to LA tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Gabby.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah. I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you do what you did to me.
Okay, well...
Well, what? Well, what, Gabby?
Well, you're coming to LA tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Gabby.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested.
Yeah, this girl sounds slow as hell. And I'm like, I was like, why don't I hear no audio? And this is over at the Shade Room. So, I guess is that it? Because I don't hear nothing. Hold on. Okay. So yeah, so the people went and jumped in the conversation. I was like trying to hurry up and find if I could go to the good old Shade Room and pull up the comments. But while I do that, what I want to play now is Cameron weighing in on the situation, and no shade, but everything Cameron said was absolutely correct, because he was up in there talking about, oh, now you're making it seem like it was a big black man go and choke a small white girl. I'm like, but you ain't know who the fuck you got with when you got with her? Like, come on. It's like, you can't be that damn dense. But like I said, the man is an NFLer. He probably got that damn CTE. You know that always mess up their damn brain. So he less than smart in a lot of these ways. So you got yourself caught up in this situation. Now you out here looking like boo-boo the fool. But let me let Killer Cam, say what he got to say. And then we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
But the first thing I took from this when I heard it was, look, he was living in California and moved to Nevada. She moved from California to Nevada too. So if somebody's being abusive to you in one state, why would you move to the next state with the same nigga who's abusing you? I don't know. Me personally, I found the red flag with that personally. And then the next thing is this sex tape that's supposedly coming out. Shannon said, put the whole 30 minutes out or 10 minutes, whatever it is. I guess there's some part in there for 30 seconds because brought that up. Shannon brought that up. He said, I believe he's going to release 30 seconds of it. Whatever that 30 seconds is must be nasty and violent and fucked up. If you don't want to put the whole 10 minutes and you reducing it to that 30, it must have been WWE in that joint. Elbow off the top of the bed, off the thrower against the dresser. You white little bitch, come here, suck big black dick. Fuck you talking about? You want nigga dick? I get that part. I get it. Because I tell white bitches you want that nigga dick. But it's consensual. They agree. You know what I'm saying? But you know,
you know what? I just had to pause that. Cam, you are a damn fool. But that's why I'm like, he's like, yeah, you want me to tell you got that nigga? And it's like, yeah, it's consensual. And it seemed like it might have been consensual with old girl and Shannon too. But now it's like she tired of race playing. And he want to keep race playing. But anyway, let's get back to what Cam had to say.
I've been doing this in a different realm from him. I never made it as a professional athlete. I've been out here shaking and juggling these bitches since 20 years old. I know what you up to. I know when a bitch try to bait me in a text message to say some dumb shit. I ain't writing it back. You right. And I'm not writing nothing back. You can't get me to write a damn thing back when I see what's going on. You get what I'm saying? Then you gotta know. You gotta know. See, that's the fucked up thing. It seemed like he trusted her from the conversation I heard. You gotta read the signs like, I don't want to get choked. That ain't something you usually say. Hold on. You don't usually talk to me like this. Why are you talking to me like this now? Yo, I'm going to hit you back. Boom. And then you know when shit ain't right, you be like, when you answer the phone, they be like, hello, hello, hello. They setting up. Oh, I can hear you now. They done set the call up. You got to read all these signs, bro. And you got to think about this, right? This is why, and a lot of people call this nigga Uncle Tom, and he don't like black people, or this, that, and the third, et cetera, et cetera. This is why Stephen A. don't get into no shit like this. And I'm gonna say none of us is above it, knock on wood, but he knows he works for Disney. When you work for Disney, a sex tape can't be coming out like this. You can't be admitting that, 30 seconds of this shit was kind of rough. I'm letting y'all know. Shit get a little wild. But didn't he like 30 seconds get what? Yo, this Mickey. But the first thing I took from this when I heard it was, look, he was living in California.
Okay, so look, Cam said what he said. Like I said, I 1,000% agree with everything he said. And to me, it just looked like, Uncle Shay, you just less than smart in this whole situation. So, and that's not all. I got more. So let's get to Stephen A. Smith, speaking of which, since Cam brought him up. And of course, when he brought it up, I was like, oh, I got to pull a Stephen A. Smith clip. And shout out to Hollywood Online, because y'all had all the receipts. So y'all definitely helping me put this topic together and keeping it flowing smoothly. So, hey, Jason. But anyway, we got the clip. We going to play it with this fool. And I don't particularly care for Stephen A. Smith, especially when he try to jump into politics and think that it's about he gonna run for president. We don't want it. We don't want it. We don't want it. You and that receipt and that messed up hairline, we don't want it. So, but anyway, with that all aside, let's get into what he had to say, and then we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
I am the executive producer of First Take on ESPN. I recruited Shannon. I went and got him and brought him to ESPN. But I'm not the boss. Those are other folks. There are layers to this, and there are certain layers even I am not on. I can tell you, I also spoke to co-chairman of Disney, the boss, Jimmy Pitaro, who made it very, very clear we are taking this matter very seriously, and we are looking into this very, very closely. And once we gather as many facts as we possibly can, we will go from there. And that is all he said. I am the executive producer.
Yep. So basically what he's saying is, you know what? I brought him in. I gave him an opportunity. I hooked him up with all these people that work over at ESPN, and they liked him, and he got the job, and he's doing what he's doing. He also has don't he also have a podcast or a show he does with Chad Ochocinco, who quiet as his kept has been caught up in some things too. You can ask Evelyn Lozada, but then again, people don't take her seriously. Even though I heard she about to be on the new season of Basketball Wives. Who still watches that show? But anyway, get back into this. When you look down on this whole situation, it is like, you know what, Uncle Shay Shay, it looked like you in danger, girl. I don't know what else to say on this. It's just like, you got yourself caught up in this situation. You already know how a little older big black man, attacks this young, innocent white girl. You got yourself caught up in this situation. And even if it was consensual in most of the situation, the way that she spun it, and you allow her to spin this the way you spun it, now it's going to look crazy. And especially in this current climate we in, you ain't winning. See, and this is what happens when a lot of y'all who don't even like being y'all true authentic selves, being a black man in America, y'all go aligning yourselves up with them folks over there. And because y'all hate being black or whatever the case is, probably because you was called a bunch of names growing up or all this other stuff, you experienced so much of that racism. So with a lot of it is internalized, and you haven't dealt with it. Even with all the money in the world, you still will be reminded, all the money, all the success, all that other stuff, you still will be reminded you ain't nothing but a big old Magilla gorilla looking ninja. That's the way they see you, regardless of how much money you make, no matter how hard you played in the NFL, and no matter how many accolades you get from your new chance at life, which is the Club Shay Shay podcast, the ESPN stuff, your friendship with Stephen A. Smith, all of that stuff. And you know what? I hate to have to be the one to have to remind you, but that's what they doing. Now, last but certainly not least, let's get to this clip, which would be from The Breakfast Club. So Charlamagne and them believe that he's being advised wrong by his legal counsel, and saying that he need to shut up, because I think Shannon Sharpe did like a Instagram post, video, whatever, that he posted on his page. I didn't watch it. It was just like, I just didn't care enough. I was just like, I don't got time to be sitting up here with all this other stuff. But he gave a side of the story. If y'all want to check it out, I guess you can go over to his Instagram page, and it's up. Or on the other blogs, like the Neighborhood Talk or the Shade Room or any one of those. But the attorney is the one, in my opinion, that got up there and was telling everybody that he tried to give her $10 million settlement or whatever the case is. So what the lawyer was keeping his damn mouth shut, I feel like his legal counsel is screwing him and is sabotaging his case. But let's hear what the Breakfast Club had to say on this.
Abuse daddy. I want like some hardcore BDSM action though. And then she says, I want you to tie me up like this and abuse me, daddy. And you can see when these text messages were released, you can see it says like from Gabby to owner. So it's painting a picture that their relationship was giving that, there was role play and everything that were happening. Now,
it was a very unfortunate situation.
It's
horrible situation.
But let me ask
Shannon Sharpe and his lawyer have handled this whole situation terribly. First of all, if you're Shannon Sharpe, you shouldn't be saying anything.
No, he shouldn't.
Busby and this young woman got audio, video, and text messages. If you know all of those things are out there, you should shut the F up and continue to allow your lawyer to do his job. And your lawyer said out of his own mouth that you was close to a $10 million settlement with that girl. That right there is all the more reason to shut the F up. I'm not here to speak to Shannon's guilt or innocence, because I don't know, but I do know attempting to settle looks like an admission of guilt, because I'm not settling.
Yeah, or you're just scared.
Yeah.
Honestly, you're just probably scared. I'm with you, Charlamagne. I feel like he's being advised wrong, right? And you know, when people go through this, they go to an attorney because the attorney usually knows what's best for them. They usually know what to do. And in this situation, like any attorney would say, shut the F up and let's deal with it in court. Let's deal with facts because you can't change public opinion unless it's in court with facts. Now, but one thing I would say, if somebody said this, but I cried when you left because I begged you to put a condom on and you put it in my beep and you didn't listen. I don't care what our history is. If that didn't happen, I'm going to be like, what the hell are you talking about? Nah, we agreed on this. I'm not going to be like, I'll call you later because I'm feeling like this is a setup right here.
Absolutely.
As soon as you text me this, I'm going to feel a little, and nobody's just going to respond. I'll call you later. You're going to be like, what the hell are you talking about? We both agreed to this. You know, like, this is part of the game. Like, nobody's going to respond with that, which scares me. But like Charlamagne said, shut the F up. Let the facts play out in court because right now, all this talking is doing too much.
Audio.
And it's making it worse.
Even audio when she was like, you're manipulating me. Like, even that would have been like, oh, no. Okay, I see what this is. You know what I'm saying? Like they were role playing.
But wouldn't you have changed that right from the door? Like, what are you talking about? Like, no. Like, let's not play this game. Were you taping me? Because last night we was good with this. Like, in my opinion.
I want to be a
Yep, and why is it that everybody else made more logical sense? But when you look at Shannon Sharpe, like, you cannot be this damn dumb. Like, I really don't understand, like, how he just sits up here and just like, yeah, if somebody was accusing me of, oh yeah, I asked you to put a condom on it, but you didn't want to do that, or you was doing all these other things, and she's accusing her of this in text messages, and you not responding, or be like, I'll call you back. You gotta be out your damn mind. I'm writing right in there. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, don't try to play in my face. You agreed to this, and this. Like, I'm putting all that up in there because you know me. When it comes to things, yeah, at times as men we do think with our little head rather than our big head, and clearly Shannon Sharpe with all that CTE that he probably suffering from, he think more from the bottom head, and the top head really ain't doing what need to be done and bringing up that common damn sense. So I could definitely see like if somebody was accusing me of stuff, there's no way in hell that I'm just going to let my text message chain go dormant. And I'm not going to let you sit up here accusing me of things if that's not the case. So I'm starting to think, and like what Charlamagne said also, and I think I alluded to this earlier because I say so much, like it's just out of sight, out of mind. I try to get so much in when I'm talking. But yeah, you settling, that makes you look guilty. And that's like with anybody, like, no, you going to accuse me of R-wording you or doing some sexual kinks and stuff that, by the way, you agreed to. But if you're going to accuse me of something, anyway, in hell, I'm letting you accuse me of something and get away with it. It's like, no, I'm going to fight this in court. I don't give a good goddamn how much it'll cost me. Because look, I'm about to get this $100 million deal with, I believe, what is it, ESPN? Like, I'm about to get this $100 million deal. My legal fees and all this stuff, I'll pay that off. That $100 million is going to go a long way because I know that's coming. And in the years that I continue to work, I can re-up and do bigger deals. And I got other deals coming in on top of deals. So this little frivolous lawsuit you're trying to take me down for, which is half the money they was going to be paying me this in this new situation with ESPN. Oh, no, we going to court, sis. So now things is looking like it's full of more in her favor. Now I'm thinking like, look, at the end of the day, I feel like the both of y'all are not innocent in this situation, but Shannon, you the one that's going to come out messed up the most in this whole situation. And Tony Busby, as per usual, is salivating at the mouth. But you know what? Let me get to a couple of the comments and then I'll wrap this up because I already know this is going to be a long one. But look, when it comes down to it, this is a nuanced topic. This is not something that could be just wrapped up in a 2-second conversation. So one person said, a man without sexual discipline is a liability. That part. Another person said, I don't feel bad for bro. You almost 60 and you out here really playing with a 19-year-old white OnlyFans model and you really surprised how she did you? You too old not to know better. Absolutely. Another person said, her conversation and the slowness. Thank you, sis, because I'm with you. Because this girl, Shayna, I think it's her name, or Shanar. But anyway, she said her conversation and the slowness would irritate the hell out of me. First of all, that part, because I was getting irritated with her with the way I'm like, why is she talking like that? Like like you think Shannon got the CT? I'm starting to wonder if she got hit upside the head one too many damn times. The way she talking, like giving special ed tease. Now, another person said, these are white women Kevin Gates talking about. These are the white women Kevin Gates talking about. Another person said, this was definitely a setup and plan, and yeah, well, his dumb ass fell for it. Another person said, strangulations, salutations, United Nations, Lakers in 5. Okay, whatever that means. Black women, mind your biz, LOL. Let them handle it in court. That's what another person said. Another person said, My black wife, Shannon, needs one. Just asked a good question. I wonder how many OnlyFans models are CIA agents. It's the oldest. Well, a lot of these OnlyFans models, a lot of y'all, child, I don't even want to get into that. A lot of you be out here hustling, and she hustled him, and he fell for it. So I think a lot of people feel that, you know what, a lot of these men get set up and they fall for it. But you know what, if you're gonna fall for it, you're gonna have to deal with the consequences, sir. And last but not least, one person I see you guys have learned nothing, and they picked the following who are caught up in these situations: O.J. Simpson, Tiger Woods, Gary Coleman, and Bill Cosby. Yeah, Bill Cosby, reputation ruined because he an alleged R-worder. Gary Coleman dead. Tiger Woods out here hunching Donald Trump Jr.'s ex-wife, and O.J. Simpson dead. And out here, red rum and white women. Well, the mother, his children. So yeah. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of all of this surrounding Shannon Sharpe? Do y'all feel basically that, you know, he a mess? He got himself caught up in a situation, and now Bird Brain is going to have to learn the hard way. And it might cost him his damn career. Close your legs to these white girls, is what I'll say. These dingbat white girls. I mean, if you want to get with somebody mixed race, definitely do that. But with the way that, like, it was poured out in the regarding of how Shannon Sharpe feels about him being a black man and the race play and all the other stuff, I don't feel no way tired about what he's dealing with right now. You the one that, you know, opened the door. Now you got to walk through it. So I say all this. I would definitely want to hear about, you know, from you all regarding this story. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. There was a lot of comments. So I got to get up into this chair. Okay, you said, a snorer is part of the Criterion Collection. I mean, I'm being messy. Isn't it too soon to get a boutique release? Is it? I would think that, well, it's physical media. I don't know how all that works. That's because the men ain't putting in the work nor thinking outside the box. They play. Oh, you talking about? Oh, that was the other thing. I think I missed your Honora comment. I laughed when I laughed when child. I think you meant one. I laughed when one of the comments on Lovely T's vid about this said, "Black women, keep your door locked and lower the shades. We're not home." When I tell you, I never. That's what I said. Look, we ain't getting caught up in this, but these men still want to run around with these snow bunnies, and y'all shocked with how they do y'all. You know, a lot of these OnlyFans models trying to be the what's that woman that did what that lied on Emmett Till? Y'all trying to be her. Judge said, wait, nah, judge that mofo because he know better. Well, apparently, I'm sure as y'all watched the video, I did judge his ass. Because in the beginning, I was just like, you know what? I ain't had all the information. I just reacted based on the information I had. Thank God I didn't cut up that video and post it online. I'm going to definitely cut this one. I'm going to make it a separate segment because I feel like it's way more nuanced. I did the before and I did with the video. It's like, Uncle Shay Shay. You know, Miss Netta and Man Drag, you a mess. Sexy and fine as hell, but dumb as bricks. I hate that. Well, look, he was in the NFL. You know, a lot of them less than smart. And that comes from all them years of him getting rocked upside the head. I wonder what his ex-assistant in Hollywood. Oh, I don't forgot about that queen. Where's she at? $10 million. I know this is horrible, but sometimes I think, why? Why you say that out loud? I ain't judging, but I'm judging. Michael B. Jordan looked good in that tank top. Okay. It said when doing shit like that, want to cry about it whenever these kind of topics are being brought up. Most don't want to listen and gaslight. Like the old saying, dumb jock. Okay. Dumb as a box of rocks still. This is why I had no confidence with most black men, because this is some goofy-ish and get mad when not being taken seriously. Okay. I've been in what? You said you've been in Ben Affleck. Look, don't be up in here admitting you a stalker. True, when I talk about white people during some controversy, I'm not talking about all white people, but the white haters and the white Latinos too. Oh, that's what I usually do. I hate when have to get to a point where I'm like, I'm not talking about all, but this amount. Like, if you're smart enough, I would assume that you get that I'm not generalizing a whole group of people. Because I don't generalize people. I talk about a certain demographic, but you have to break all that down because people like to misconstrue what it is that you're saying. He said, "Oh, I would love to hear what Amanda Seales have to say about this. I remember she that tap dancing to mock him, to call him out. Did she ever do that? I do feel like skinny is in now. Muscles elastic. You must be watching the playback. Not the playback, because we ain't playing the back. We still live. You must have rewinded the episode back. Because I'm seeing you posting about stuff that we talked about earlier, especially when we talk about like people, that skinny is in and the sinners talk. So I think okay, Anumbria, you rewinded. That's why I said you said I tuned in late, so I clearly got it. It's like you rewinded back the episode while it's live, and you just responded to the rewinding Asian. But anyway, where are we going now? Speaking of court cases, let's get into this Taylor Swift story. Well, more likely it's a Blake Lively story, but Taylor Swift is involved because according to reports, and this is the Daily Mail, and I saw Page 6 reported it too, so let's take it with a grain of salt. It's about this upcoming trial with Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively that Hugh Jackman and Taylor Swift may get dragged up in a mess and may be subpoenaed to have to be put under oath to, I guess, speak on the behalf of Blake Lively, but they know their privacy. This may not look good in Blake's favor or whatever the case is. So they said Swift, who's 35, and Jackman, who's 56, will definitely be served this week. This is what a source told the Daily Mail Tuesday. They said it could happen at any time, the insider alleged, claiming that the Don't Blame Me singer has been waiting. Okay, well, if we hear about it, I'm going to definitely keep my eye on this, but I'm like side-eyeing the Daily Mail. So they said that reps for Swift and Jackman have not responded to comments or responded in a comment over to Page 6. Now, Lively's battle with Baldoni, who is 41, began in December of 2024 when she sued the actor for emotional distress and lost wages. He returned the favor about the following month, suing Lively, who's 37, and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, for $400 million in January. Now, at the time, Baldoni pulled Swift into headlines by claiming Lively weaponized her friendship with Swift while allegedly trying to control their 2024 film's production. The Jane the Virgin alum alleged in a complaint obtained by Page... Wait, was she Jane the Virgin? Oh, wait, no. Jane the Virgin, that was just about Baldoni. What am I talking about? I was like, no, she was on Gossip Girl. Which, sidebar, I saw this clip that was going around, or this article that was going around about Penn Badgley, who, dated Blake Lively, had finally spoken on their relationship. I didn't care enough to read it. I kind of wish I would have, so I could have just brought it up in passing. But the story is out there. So now, he complained that one of Lively's famous and famously close friends praised one of Lively's script rewrites when he was invited to her and Reynolds' New York City penthouse. While he did not name Swift, she was referenced in a text during that evening. So I remember when we were first talking about this whole case, and it was a lot. So at one point I was like, okay, I'm tired of talking about it. Like, until y'all give us some more stuff, then I'll talk about it. And here we are. So there was stories going around that was like, yeah, she did kind of initiate some script rewrites and was praising the stuff that Blake was coming up with. But I'm like, if you're not a producer on this movie, if you're not a part of any behind the scenes stuff, you should not be trying to come in and rewrite any of my damn script, especially when it's my movie and I'm directing it. No shade. That'd be for anybody. If it was Ryan Dan Reynolds, who, sidebar, you know what I learned? And I totally didn't realize this. Sean Levy was an actor at one point. I had no idea. I totally forgot that Sean Levy, before he became a filmmaker, which he's more successful at, he was an actor. He was in this movie that was terrible with Meredith Salinger back in the 80s called The Kiss. I watched that the other day. And I totally forgot about the movie. I was like watching it back. I was like, okay, this movie's terrible, but it's campy. And there were some cool sequences in it, especially like I said, I can't look at escalators the same after that one sequence. But yeah, Sean Levy was in that. And I was looking at his face because he had long hair back then. And I was like, why does he look familiar? Then when I saw the credits, I was like, oh, now I know why he looks familiar. But anyway, back to this. So Baldoni's attorney claimed that Man Enough podcast host felt obliged to text Lively to say that he had liked her pages and had needed Reynolds and her mega celebrity friend to pressure him. And then at one point, y'all remember that Lively called Swift and Reynolds her creative barometers and dragons she was lucky to have in her corner. Now, Brian Freeman alleged the message could not have been clearer. Baldoni was not just dealing with Lively, he was also facing Lil Lively's dragons, two of the most influential and wealthy celebrities in the world who were not afraid to make things very difficult for him. So Baldoni's lawyer teased possibly deposing Swift in a February statement, calling that potential a game time decision. So if Blake Lively was allegedly out here extorting and trying to defame Justin and trying to take over his movie and strong-arming him by weaponizing her marriage to Ryan Reynolds, and because of the amount of power he holds in Hollywood, and Taylor Swift because she's another big-name celebrity who I heard she's not the richest girl in the world anymore. That's in her 30s. There was a story that I saw. Well, she's a billionaire in her 30s, but they said this girl that created a AI type company, she's like 30 years old. She's a billionaire, but she's worth more money than Taylor Swift. But look, Taylor Swift got her money from just music and that alone. This girl got it from a freaking app. So apples and oranges. But still, they're still billionaires. Who cares how much, in the billionaire department, who's richer than who? But this is, I guess, what they talk about. Now, in regards of, they were talking about that Jackman is still close friends with Lively and Reynolds. And as far as the friendship goes with Swift and Lively, according to page 6, they're saying that Taylor feels used by Lively. But then in March, a source basically said the songwriter is a strong woman who is not afraid of being dragged into a legal spat. So that's basically all we have on this story right now. We'll see how things work out as we get closer to their trial date, which I'm hearing isn't their trial supposed to begin in 2026? So we're like a ways away from their trial starting. So I don't know why this is being made a big issue now, and they're talking about possibly being subpoenaed or having to testify in court. Like, I would think that would happen as we get close to the trial date. But I'll keep you guys abreast of the story as it develops. So I ask all of you, what did you think of this story? Do you think that there is a possible truth that Taylor Swift and Hugh Jackman could be subpoenaed and have to testify in this Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, messy Hollywood case? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So now let's move on. Let's get into this Housewives stuff. So I started watching Hollywood Demons. I know I'm a little behind on a lot of them. So when I heard about this story, I was like, oh, I need to watch the Hollywood Demons series where, with so know about what's going on with the Housewives. And when I was watching the channel, I gagged because there was a lot that was going on. First, they do mention to build up with the Housewives of New Jersey. They mentioned a lot of, they talk about Nene Leakes and her trouble with the law in the past before she became famous. They talked about Danielle Staub, which is why they said this might have been the catalyst to what Teresa got herself caught up in, because Danielle Staub, for those of you who don't remember, when they brought up the book that came out from this guy, I believe it was her ex-husband that wrote the book. And he was a confidential informant when she met him. I think he was he met her at a strip club or something or another, and they wound up having the best sex of their life. Then he wound up, I guess the pussy was so good, he ended up confiding her and telling her, because she was going through her stuff, about that, I guess the police she was gonna get arrested. She got caught up in some stuff, drug trafficking and a whole bunch of other things, and kidnapping of some kid that wanted to get caught up in the trade. And there was a whole situation where her boyfriend at the time was a drug dealer. And so there was another name that she went by. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but if you see the episode, they pretty much break it on down. And I don't know, I guess the coochie was so damn good that he wound up telling her that he was a confidential informant, which I'm like, are you dumb? But you know what? As they say, the power of the pussy. Sometimes you can't control what's about to go down. So yeah, he wound up telling her, and then he said he ended up marrying her to keep her out of jail, and was like, "Oh, I can help you out, like keep you from going to prison and all this other stuff," and putting her in contact with people because he said he was an informant for the FBI and all this other stuff. So, and she didn't snitch, and he said that if she would have, then could you imagine like the Colombian cartel would have found out what he was doing? He'd have ended up dead. So, with all of that happening, you know, Teresa on the show started bringing up the whole thing about the book, which I think production pretty much put her up to that because they saw like she ain't like Danielle. So production pretty much put her up to that so I guess they could drive the narrative, which they were saying in the beginning when Orange County and all the other stuff came up, how the first season was pretty boring and they need to kind of zhuzh up the show a bit. So I do think production played a part in Teresa being even aware of this book and Danielle's past. Because I don't think, good look, I've always said Teresa gives me less than smart teas. I do not believe she would have been clever enough to even know about, to even bring up this book. So I do feel like production had a part in it. And so then they brought up the infamous dinner table scene where they was all around the table, the prostitution whore and gave 19 times. And they said that there was a producer that was actually under the table at the time. And when you see Danielle reach down, she's actually getting the book passed to her from the producer. And then she goes and says, okay, I want to address something that is being brought up that I know a lot of y'all are concerned about. She wasn't being 110% truthful. The ex-husband that she was married to for a year, the informant, he said he was laughing the whole damn time because of all the other mess that was going on. So that's the whole setup. Now, after that, because of what Teresa did, the flipping of the table, the prostitution whore, the engaged 19 times, all of that drama, that is what pretty much put her on the map. And, you know, she started to basically, you know, ride the coattails of all the success. I was trying to figure out the word that I could use for that. But yeah, it was like she was riding the coattail because it was like she was riding high and she took advantage of every opportunity that came her way with the cookbook and all the other stuff. So now, you know, over the years when Joe Gorga ended up coming on the show, her brother, remember over the years how Teresa would always go up and say, well, Joe basically sold me out. The feds, basically, he was, you know, he snitched to the feds and they were looking into her private affairs, whatever, and that's why she ended up going to jail because Joe apparently had her sign some paperwork. So she was blaming everybody. But according to the people in the interview, they said that no, how we came after her was because the IRS, people who were watching the show were fans of the Housewives of New Jersey, worked at the IRS. So I always find it funny that I'm like, y'all don't think the feds, y'all don't think the IRS, y'all don't think government officials watch reality TV? You think all they do is sit in the office and crunch numbers all day and investigate people? Like, they got lives too. They got families to raise. They like to turn off the seriousness of the world and be entertained by frivolous popcorn TV. You don't think they watch reality shows? Like, you couldn't have been that dense, but apparently she was. So we talking about less than smart. We just talked about Shannon Sharpe. Now we talking about her. So yeah, now they're saying that former Real Housewives of New Jersey star Caroline Manzo and Joe's former business partner for the criminal case against her, an IRS director, is finally setting the record straight on how the investigation into Teresa and her ex-husband, Joe Giudice, began. And this is all stemming from, because you know, Teresa got herself caught up in another situation where her and Louis ain't been paying their taxes. Well, they owe $3 million combined. So it's like, okay, before we could look at, you know, you could blame Joe, but now you caught up in the same situation with a different man. Now I'm starting to look at you. Because, yeah, like I said, that they face around $3 billion in tax liens. And saying that, yeah, she partook in the whole fraud case. So I do have that clip, courtesy of Instagram, because, you know, I was receipt heavy today. Now we're going to play that clip and then we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
Life was going to be crazier than anything. Right there. in 2012. One of the case agents with IRS criminal investigation happened to be watching The Real Housewives of New Jersey, and it shows a significant amount of cash that was being expended by Teresa. As we started to peel back the layers, we identified one loan application way before the TV show. She supplied pay stubs. That job did not exist. She had applied for another mortgage, and this time she claimed that she was a realtor, making $15,000 a month, and when in fact it was totally fabricated. Then, after the first season here in New Jersey, Teresa and Joe filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. But they claimed that they were earning less than what they actually were. In addition, Joe and Teresa had not filed a tax return for at least 8 years, from 2000 through 2008.
Did any of this happen while the show was airing?
So Teresa received 15 months in prison, and Joe received 41 months in prison.
One generosity that the court, her life was going to be crazier than anything.
See, and now they went and cut it off at the good part, because there was one part where a woman comes on and says that the crazy thing about the whole situation is that they each got to serve their time separately, so that way one of them could be home to raise their kids. And they said that only will be afforded to someone who is white and has money, because they would not allow that to happen with any one of us regular junk. If both of us, if me and my significant other was in on some stuff, trust and believe, they would have locked us both up at the same time, and it'd be like, well, y'all need to figure out who's going to raise them kids. They're probably going to end up in foster care, or I'd have to leave them with their godparent if you're Catholic, or you'd have to leave them with a family member until I got out of jail. So they don't afford the rest of us those same opportunities, because Teresa was who she was and Joe was who he was, and it was on a popular reality show, and they both Caucasian. They were able to get the deal that they got. So yeah, so after all of that, it was like, yeah, y'all already know that they pled guilty to bank, mail, wire, and bankruptcy fraud in 2014, and where she got 15 months and he got 41 months. And then not only did he get 41 months, but once he was done with his thing, I believe they put him on house arrest at one or at a halfway house or something or another. And after that, they deported him, which I believe now he lives in the Bahamas, because once they deported him to Italy because that's where he's from. But then he moved from Italy to Bahamas because he said that the plane ride would be a lot easier for his daughters to come and see him, whereas it was a much longer flight from the United States to Italy. That's why he moved. He moved for them. So, I was like, did I put that picture up? Okay, there it goes. First of all, Joe looked good. Teresa looked good too. Money well spent. And Louis is Louis. But unfortunately, it's like, I'm glad that I was hoping I could get to a place where I could say, you know what, Teresa, congratulations to you. You learned your lesson. You moved on, even though everybody kind of side-eyeing your relationship with Louis anyway. But now y'all caught up in another similar situation with y'all not paying y'all bills. Y'all not filing y'all taxes. Y'all are not exempt. Y'all are not apparently the president of the United States, where you could just not pay your taxes and get away with it, or not do anything. Do whatever the hell you want and get away with it. So we all got to pay our taxes, sis. So do you. Otherwise, you're going to end up behind bars yet again. So, yeah. So, with Teresa running around here with this big old bold face, like, we're trying to blame everybody. It's like, no, sis, you need to blame yourself. And not only that, they also talked about, they brought up a couple of people. They brought, and shout out to Taylor Armstrong, because they brought her up. She brought up details of her marriage with the guy that when she was on the Housewives of Beverly Hills, and the abuse that she was going through, and Camille went and spilled that tea on the show. So there was a lot that they go into. And also they brought up Erica Jane and her being in a situation with Tom Girardi and all that mess. Now, sidebar, child, word on the curb, because Housewives of Beverly Hills is wrapped. I saw this blonde item going around. Shout out to the Reality Report. They said this West Coast housewife who recently wished her former co-star was a bit more interesting, and that was to Garcelle, found herself receiving a friend of contract for the new season. So word on the curb is Miss Erica Jane is a friend of, like, she ain't getting a diamond. And I'm like, well, sis, you really didn't deliver this season. You wasn't giving us anything. You was giving friendo teas. So if that's what you're going to deliver on the Housewives of Beverly Hills, then you are going to be demoted to friendo. So now you got to work your way up like Luann had to do when she was on the New York season when they demoted her and made her a friendo. You got to work yourself up, your way up to that diamond. Well, hopefully they do inject, like, look, I always say be careful what you wish for. They inject some new blood into the show because the show sure enough needs it. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Did you see this episode of Hollywood Demons? I thought it was relatively interesting, especially when Dr. Drew did an interview with Taylor Armstrong, and she was giving full details about the whole thing about, between the abuse allegations that came out between her husband at the time. I think his name was Richard. And then, there was this whole case about how he got caught up in some money situation and how all his accounts was drained and how he went and hung himself at one of their homes. And then one of the wives of his business partners had asked her, she was like, do you think it had to do with the show? And she was hysterical about the whole thing. And then the business partner said, no, I don't think it wasn't the show that caused him to hang himself. And then the same person that said that got in his car, drove up to not too far from where Taylor's ex-husband unalived himself and put a bullet in his brain. So there was a whole situation. Like, it was crazy when I watched the episode. And I was like, okay, first of all, Hollywood Demons, y'all did a big one with this one. So I gotta watch all the other ones. I still haven't seen the Power Rangers one. I still haven't seen the one with the troubled child star. So I definitely got to check all those out. And they recently released the one with Iron Claw. So I got to check that one out. So I think that was the latest one. So they got a lot of pretty good one, a lot of ones that are pretty good that I think a lot of people should check out. So if that's up your alley and y'all like real life drama stuff in documentary form, definitely check out Hollywood Demons. So if y'all have seen this episode, or if it's sparked your interest, or even if you have opinions on what Teresa had to say about, why she got caught, sent over to jail, and blaming everybody else except herself and her husband, because you was out here lying and thinking that the IRS don't watch TV, apparently, or even own one. I guess they all think they're part of the damn Flintstones. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Cornell University Arena canceled Kalani concert for her I'm like, people out here still listen to Kalani? I was like, okay. Oh, well, look. I don't know what to say on that. I just feel like, what, people have opinions on things, and Israel definitely has a stake in our country and a lot of our political stuff. So y'all should not be surprised by this. All right, so now let's move on. Let's talk about Justin Bieber. So we talked a little bit about Justin Bieber yesterday, where, fans, as in the Beliebers, were sharing their concern on social media in regards of how he was behaving at Coachella over the weekend. I don't remember off the top of my head what shows he was seeing, whatever the case was, but yeah, he was hanging out at Coachella with his younger brother who was smoking weed around, which I heard that Haley had to jump in. And intervene. She was also there. And yeah, he was getting high and Cooter Brown at Coachella. And he was literally looking like an extra in 28 years later. So one of his longtime friends is speaking out and says he's basically insinuating, implying, whatever you want to call it, that Justin might be in a cult. And I don't know if it's the Hillsong Church he referring to, but he said he in a cult. So Ryan Good reportedly soured because of the singer's close ties with his pastor, Judah Smith. Bieber, so it ain't the Hillsong, it's a new church. Now, Bieber, who has sparked health concerns among fans due to his behavior on social media and public appearances, finally addressed claims that he was broke and owed a large debt. Justin Bieber's circle has gotten smaller in recent times as he continues to be estranged from many of his friends and associates who are now questioning his choices. Bieber's former associate, Ryan Good, the creative director behind the singer's popular clothing brand Drew House, appears to be stepping back from him because of his pastor, Judah Smith. According to TMZ, Good and Bieber have not spoken in over a year since the fashion executive left the Peaches singer's church home in Beverly Hills, the church where Bieber still worships and Smith serves as a pastor. Sources told the news outlet that Good felt church home That's what it's called, church on. What kind of name is that? Anyway, they said was a cult, so he left, and the fact that Bieber grew closer to Smith didn't help matters at all. It seemingly got worse after Bieber added Smith to his fashion brand's board a few years ago, despite the fact that Good didn't get along with the pastor. And my thing is, if you don't have any kind of fashion experience, why the hell are you coming aboard giving any kind of fashion advice or even having any kind of say-so in my clothing line? Quiet as it's kept, I didn't even know Justin Bieber had a clothing line, because lately he's been running around dressed like a homeless man, a full-on hobo. Now, meanwhile, reports suggest Good is worried about Bieber following his recent run of disturbing headlines. The insider described the move as weird because Smith is more of a pastor than a businessman. However, sources close to Smith said he has no problem with Good and wishes him well. Now, Good isn't the only associate Bieber has severed ties with in recent times, as his circle continues to get smaller by the day. The baby singer has since ended things with his former manager, Scooter Braun, that Zionist, his associate Allison Kay, and longtime security chief Kenny Hamilton. He also pulled the plug on his working relationship with TriStar after they left him feeling betrayed for allegedly mismanaging his finances for years. However, his former friends and associates are questioning his decisions, saying, quote, whatever he's going through, I pray for him and hope he's okay. This is what Bieber's former collaborator, Pooh Bear, who co-wrote some of his biggest hits, including Despacito and What Do You Mean, told The Hollywood Reporter. Didn't Pooh Bear recently get into it with another producer? Or was that Kendrick's producer getting in a online scuffle with Drake's producer? I don't know. Y'all just be weird with some of these stupid things that y'all do online. So they went up saying, seeing him disintegrate like this is watching the embodiment of someone not living their purpose. This is what one former team member said, saying he's lost. There's no one protecting him because there's no one there willing to say no to him. You say no, you get blown out. So the 30-year-old singer continues to spark concern among fans following his rough appearance during week 2 of Coachella in 2025. So that was literally this past weekend. So in a clip, as y'all saw, and we showed it yesterday, it was making rounds. They said that he was seen smoking what appears to be a blunt near us, at a soiree, and the people are out here genuinely concerned for him. And he did look a mess. He was nodding, he was holding on to his friend for dear life. It looked like he was about to lean with it and rock with it over on his own behind. Like he was about to lean over like the Tower of Giza. So to me, I just feel like Justin Bieber is lost. Justin Bieber is crashing out. Justin Bieber is putting his attention and energy behind the wrong people and not listening to those who genuinely care about him. And I don't know if the right answer is speaking to the press about these genuine concerns. I know some people feel like, well, how would that help him? But I just feel like, if I'm trying to reach you in other ways and you're not responding, yeah, maybe me going public will wake you up. But sometimes I feel like people have to hit rock bottom for them to wake up and realize they need, bro, I'm trying to help you. Like, I genuinely care about you. These people that you're surrounding yourself with do not care about you. And it's sad that Justin Bieber, who is someone who was young getting in this business, trusted a lot of people, may have been manhandled in more ways than one by the diddler and many others, is running around completely lost in this world. I would think that when you being married, you having a son, that you would feel that you have something to live for, and you would be putting your energy into that. But all the money in the world you have, you can afford a therapist, you can afford to get the help you need. Being a part of these cultish type churches is not the answer. I'm not even going to say a regular church would be the answer, because those are cults too, in my opinion. Organized religion, I feel, is a cult. This is why I follow more of a spiritual path than a religious path. In a lot of ways, live and let live, and I live, like I said, a more spiritual life. And you getting caught up in these little Hollywood, trendy type religions, church situations, it is giving Jim Jones drinking the Kool-Aid type tease. And I hope that Justin gets the help that he needs, but if he's not willing to get the help, then what can you do? And I would think that his wife would try to step in, but like I said yesterday, she's more concerned about what the hell Selena Gomez out here doing with her man, rather than focusing on trying to help her damn man. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of the latest where Justin Bieber's friend is showing concern for him and feeling like Justin needs help? Like the fans are out here trying to get him, trying to help him out. You know, his own friends are speaking out. But if, like I said, if Justin don't want to get the help, all you could do is lead the horse to the water, but you can't make him drink. So I'll just keep abreast of the story as it develops, and I'll be keeping my eye on whatever Justin out here doing. But hopefully, like I said, he gets the help that he needs. So I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I believe it, though. Definitely not broke. Yeah, there was stories about him being broke. Magical Mermaids in the building. Bro, I went to a self-improvement seminar, life coaching program. Turned out to be a cult. Are you for real? Are you just trying to be funny? It's like you was in a self. That's why I don't go to none of them things, because I'm like, y'all ain't gonna goop me. I think he just applied. Well, it could be. And look, a lot of people aren't very reciprocal of drugs. So if you're not somebody who could do well with drugs, I would not get on it. And wasn't his father an addict at one point? And now one of the leaders directed a movie that looks like an advertisement for the damn thing. Sipping on some scissor. Well, Lil Wayne, don't he do that? And that's why he released another Carter album. He showed off his Carter album cover. Do people care? I don't. Hollywood full of these cults. Absolutely. Scientology being one of the main ones. It was real. I didn't. Okay. I was like, are you trying to be funny? He said, oh, I thought you reported earlier. Okay. Well, look, sorry, Denver. You're not getting a dose of Kylie. But I'm sure the concert is live on YouTube if y'all look it up. So Denver, which got a lot of the homosexuals out there, you're not gonna be able to see her. I did hear that Denver is pretty gay. I'm like, I'd like to visit it one day, go out to Miss Denver. I think I heard that shout out to Porfy, the adult performer who, used to be in a relationship with Fitness Poppy. I was watching his stories yesterday. He told me he moving to Phoenix, Arizona. Well, he probably there by now. He moving to Phoenix. He said he could just save money. He tired of living in LA with all the drama and giving all his energy to all these men or whatever the case is and not getting back. Like, I gotta fight for you to give me some type of attention when I go and give you so much attention and I'm going so hard for you. I'm like, him and that ass, first of all, I give him all the attention in the world. Like, I will be hypnotized by that behind. I ain't gonna be hypnotized like Shannon Sharpe. But if my man had all that ass, trust and believe, I'm giving you all the attention you want and all that behind. But yeah, so apparently he said he moved to Phoenix. He said his brother lives out there and he's going to save a whole lot of money. So he's going to be bartending. And then on top of that, he's going to be doing content. He'll, I guess, leave for a week out of every month. And then he'll go film content, but he'll also bartend and he'll do other stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it's probably way less you got to spend because LA is not cheap. Spending $3,000 for a one bedroom, that is crazy. And she's invited to the Met Gala and will be attending for. Well, look, that's why I was like, look, I'm sorry. I got plans. I'm doing the Met Gala. Met Gala's about to come around. Met Gala's about to be big. You got Pharrell that's going to be behind it. Coleman Domingo, so many others. I think Janelle Monáe is also a part of it. So I'm like, I want to be there. Shit. I'm no shade. I would love to be up there singing them hits and songs from Tension 1 and 2, plus the Stock Aiken Waterman stuff. But sorry, Denver, I'm about to take my behind and walk that red carpet in some fashion at the Met Gala, which is next month. Yeah, we're definitely going to be talking about the Drag Race. We're definitely going to be talking about the Drag Race All-Stars 10 later on in the show. John Brinkle, my internet crush. Why do I not know that name? Who is that? Hold on. Let me check who that is. Wait, who is John Bronco? Is he a comedian? Excuse me. I don't know who that is. I was trying to look up to see who that, or is he an adult performer? They said, "Oh, you in for a nice surprise." Is it? Well, you said OnlyFans is banned in Arizona. You could leave Arizona and film. I didn't say he was going to film it in Arizona. He's going to be traveling because, what's his name? I mean, look, my friend Ray Diesel and a lot of other performers that I know, they're hardly home. They travel a lot. So he's out of, I may need to look that up because I was trying to look for, wait, so John Branco, maybe I need to look that up, OnlyFans model. Because I was like, who's that? Because it was coming up as a different name. Oh, wait a minute. I've seen him before. Does he do stuff for Sean Cody? Oh, he got body. Oh, okay. Let me not stop being a whore on live on camera. But I was like, I need to see who that is. But it's like, yeah, just because it's banned in Arizona does not mean that I can't leave Arizona and go film elsewhere. But I guess y'all won't be seeing it. Arizona voted that into Congress as well as being in. Well, okay. Well, look, I hope he knows that. But like I said, he ain't going to be filming in Arizona. Or if you're going to be filming, you better watch it because you don't want to end up in jail. All right. So where we going? Okay. So now let's get into this story. So let's talk about Tina Knowles because apparently she dropped her memoir, which is called Matriarch. Almost forgot what it was. Matriarch. And you want to know something funny? You know, Matthew Knowles also dropped the book. So I find it funny that Matthew Knowles and Tina Knowles dropped the memoir at the same time, but crickets on Matthew because nobody cares. But when it comes to Miss Tina, everybody's interested because, you know, Tina going to be dropping some jewels. Tina going to be talking about a lot of stuff. And we're going to be talking about what she talking about. She talks about her marriage to Richard Lawson and why that didn't work out and how Tyler Perry felt when he found out they was breaking up because they both his friends. We're going to talk about Beyonce and the fake pregnancy rumors because she addresses all of that. She addresses her cancer diagnosis, and we didn't even know she had cancer. She kept saying, this is why I love the Knowles, because y'all know how to keep a secret. We didn't even know she had cancer. And then the fact that she spills a little bit about Jay-Z and Beyonce's marriage, how they kept that secret. And on top of that, Jay-Z had some work cut out for him because Beyonce was interested in somebody else before she ended up getting with Mr. Carter. So I'm going to just put up this picture, you know, as a general photo. Well, actually, let me put this one up and then we'll get to the other photo. So, yeah, but then on top of that, I don't know, there was this video that went viral, and this is why I only remember about it, because Matthew was going around acting all stank because some girl called him Matthew Knowles, and he going, my name ain't no Matthew, it's Mr. Knowles. Only my friends call me Mr. I'm like, sir, please stop it. Number one, don't nobody know your ass as no damn Mr. Knowles. For all these years you've been in the business, especially being Beyonce's manager father in the beginning of her career until she dropped your ass. I don't even know who manages her now, but before she dropped you, we knew you as Matthew Knowles, and that's with one T, not two. So we're not going to sit up here all of a sudden act like you need to be called Mr. Knowles. Now, with my upbringing, I always call my elders Mr. and Mrs. But for the most part, you ain't Prince or Madonna or Beyonce. We're not calling you no damn Mr. Knowles. Get the fuck out of here. But anyway, you just want to try to sun that girl on her show. So now Tina Knowles, let's get to the cancer stuff. Now, while promoting her memoir, which is out, in an interview with People, the 71-year-old mother of Beyonce and Solange shared that she was diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer in her left breast last July, as she had previously missed her routine mammogram during the pandemic. Now, Tina opens up about her cancer diagnosis in her new book, which was released on Tuesday, and explained to People why she decided to publicly speak out about her cancer battle. She said, I struggled with whether I would share that journey in the book because I'm very private, but I decided to share it because I think it's a lot of lessons in it for other women. And I think as women, sometimes we get so busy and we get so wrapped up in running around, but you must go get your test. Because if I had gotten my test early, I shudder to think what could have happened to me. So that was good that she went out and got it. And it was like, yeah, during the pandemic, wasn't a lot of people trying to run up to the hospital and other stuff, but I'm glad they caught it early. She also said, by continuing, I forgot that I didn't go get my test 2 years before I thought I had. because COVID came and they called me and canceled me, and they said, we'll call you when we start testing again. And I just thought I had done it. So you cannot play around with that. After what happened to her, Tina stressed the importance of women staying up to date on their scans, saying it's important not to slack on your mammograms. She said, I didn't know that there was a stage 0. I didn't know that either. I could have caught this at stage 0 if I had not missed my mammogram. Now, meanwhile, in her memoir, she recalled how Beyonce and Solange reacted to the diagnosis. Now, Tina wrote that Beyonce, who's 43, took it well, staying positive, and I could already feel her mind racing, focusing on this as a task to tackle with precision. It's funny, with us Virgos, this is how we tackle stuff. It's like, how we going to deal with this? And we start strategizing. Now, she said that Solange, who's 38, told her mom, we're going to take care of this. Now, Tina said Destiny's Child's Kelly Rowland and her niece, Angie Beyonce, also supported her, saying that my girls became my team. She also spoke, now while speaking about her breast cancer journey with Gayle King on Tuesday's episode of CBS Mornings, she said that all 4 of her girls were by her side and helped alleviate her nerves when she went to the hospital for a lumpectomy last year, saying that she was nervous, so they started just joking with me, adding that the girls helped her get out of her head. And you know what? That's usually always the case of when it comes down to things, is that I don't want to stress you out. I know you're already panicking and you're scared and you got all these negative emotions going through your head. So yeah, I'm gonna play around and I'm gonna joke with you and I'm gonna just try to ease your mind. And that was kind of like how I felt when, last month, a couple of weeks ago, I should say, my mother had 2 back-to-back heart attacks. And that's how it was when I went to go see her. Like, I would just joke around with her. I would play around like I would just, like, when I went to visit her in the hospital. And she's fine now. She's just having to do a whole life change, which is physical therapy. My grandfather, who passed away now, she took his walker. So she's going to be dealing with that. Using that to get around to certain places instead of her cane. And now she's eating differently. She can't eat all the things that she used to eat. When it comes to being around people of color, how we love our soul food and we like all those other things. So she's removing herself from that, and now she's eating. I know she's got vegan food that she's eating, and she's having to change her whole lifestyle. She's got a nutritionist. She has a physical therapist. She has all those things. So it's like, yeah, it's a big lifestyle change. So the older you get, and Tina's in her 70s. My mother's 69. She just turned 69 in January. So now she's in a place where it's like, you know what? When you older, it's not a game. You really got to start playing when, taking care of yourself. And me being 2 days older than Beyonce, now I have to put in my head that, you know what? We got to start taking care of ourselves, because I'm September 2nd. She's September 4th. So it's like, I have to take care of myself in these ways too, where it's like, you got to eat right, you exercise, you take care of yourself, because I don't want to end up in a situation where I got to worry about having a heart attack or I got to worry about cancer. And that's why it's very important, especially like when you get to be a certain age. And I know as a man, I have to worry about getting a colonoscopy. So just like the women need to be up on their cancer, and I think men can get cancer too, from what I've heard, like breast cancer and things of that nature. So we got to be up on that, and men need to be up on, prostate exams. So I'm definitely with you on this, Mama Tina. So now to go from that, we also now have her addressing claims that Beyonce always planned on going solo, because that was the rumor that was going around also in regards to that. And, for me growing up, there was always this rumor that was going around that Beyonce always wanted to be a solo star, that she pretty much used being a part of Destiny's Child as a way to, what's the word? That she always planned on using Destiny's Child as a stepping stone. I'm gonna just put it on this because that's the book. So I was like, she was planning on using Destiny's Child as a stepping stone to be a big superstar. And she like, I don't know who told you that, but that was a lie. So let's get into that story. So in the memoir, she addressed the rumors that Beyonce always planned on being a solo artist and always planned to leave Destiny's Child. And she also addressed the incredibly harmful rumors that surfaced after founding members LaTavia Robertson and LaToya Luckett left the group. saying, people oftentimes say that the goal was always for Beyonce to be solo, but if that were the case, she would have done that out the gate. This is what she said per Us Weekly. She loved being a part of a group. Beyonce, Kelly Rowland, Robertson, and Lucky created Destiny's Child, originally called Girls Time, and I remember that because they was on Star Search back in the day. Now, in the 90s, ahead of the debut of the Say My Name music video in 2000, Luckett and Robertson left the group and were replaced by Michelle Williams and Farrah Franklin. Although Tina did not share details regarding Luckett and Robertson's departure, she slammed claims that Beyonce was thrilled about their exits and contributed to them per Us Weekly. Saying, quote, Beyonce saw it as the end of a marriage of 10 years, and she began to grieve it as such. This is what she said before addressing speculation regarding the role of Tina's ex-husband, Matthew, with one T, Knowles, who is Beyonce's and Solange's father and who was Destiny's Child's manager. Now, rumors and negative stories took hold, casting Beyonce as the daddy's girl who made demands, and people even ran with a lie, and I remember this vividly, that Kelly only stayed because she was Matthew's biological child from an affair. And she said it was all incredibly hurtful. Now, according to Tina, Beyonce was so upset at the time that she would barely leave her room and was cocooned in her bed. Meanwhile, Tina said Matthew seemed paralyzed and his racing mind of ideas slowed to a stop. She went on to address Franklin's exit, which came only a few months after she joined, saying, quote, so she unfortunately didn't work out, and I always wish her the very best on her journey. Now, meanwhile, after Destiny's Child recorded its third best-selling album, Survivor, which was its first as a trio, the group took a hiatus to pursue solo projects, which, of course, when you look at Survivor, people felt like, okay, that was Beyonce kind of throwing shade at them other girls. Because it did feel like, oh, you were trying to, you were coming out victorious at the end of the day. And it did kind of feel like a little slight towards them. So while I believe some of it, I don't believe it all. But Miss Tina said it, we'll just go along with it. Now, Michelle was the first with Heart to Yours, which became the first selling gospel album of 2002. Tina wrote per The Independent. Then Kelly took over the summer with her single with Nelly, which, is Dilemma. Our Princess creating a classic and #1 single in the United States and in places all over Europe, forever launching her as an international star in her own right. It was one of the reasons her album Simply Deep debuted at #1 in the UK. And that's why I always said from the beginning, I don't understand why Kelly didn't follow along with that, because she was hugely popular overseas. Yeah, her music was doing all right over here. And I like when she kind of went more international dance music. She was like, in my opinion, the Donna Summer of my generation. And I wish she would have kind of went forward with that. But y'all know Black girls are not allowed to be pop stars. Only white girls. You got to be doing the R&B and stuff. But it's like, no. I like when she did the dance music. So I kind of wish Kelly would have stuck with that. Now, they said that Tina also opened about the album's delay, meaning Survivor, writing that Beyonce postponed the record so Kelly could take full advantage of the momentum of her own success. Now, according to Tina, Sony, which was Beyonce's label at the time, also said the album did not include any releasable singles. Oh, wait, I think they're talking about, not that, they're talking about Dangerously in Love. It wasn't, so yeah, they said that Beyonce delayed Dangerously in Love until 2003, and was pushed back several times because she wanted Kelly to have her moment and she didn't want to overshadow her. But yes, and she said that Tina went on to write that the label brought in a few tastemakers before Beyonce recruited her then boyfriend, Jay-Z, whom she claimed said every song on Dangerously in Love, was a smash. Now, while the label allegedly still expressed doubt, the album was released and, of course, as y'all know, made history because we ate it up. The album was a huge hit. She won 5 Grammys and, 4 multi-platinum hit singles, which would be Crazy in Love, Baby and Boy, Me, Myself and I, and Naughty Girl. And I don't know how y'all listen to that album was like, this album has no hits on it. Like, do y'all got hearing problems? Are y'all like musically challenged? Because I don't know how y'all listen to Dangerously in Love and somebody literally fixed their mouth to say this album has no hits on it. Because like the ones I mentioned, Crazy in Love, Baby Boy, Me, Myself, and I, and Naughty Girl, all bops. And now if I can remember off the top of my head, let me go to Beyonce's album and see if I can pull up that record. Because look, Beyonce always been giving us, throughout her solo endeavors, Hit after 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 hit. And when you look at the record, look, yeah, Crazy in Love was a bop. Naughty Girl was a bop. Baby Boy was a bop. I love me some. I love, I did love when she covered The Closer I Get to You, which isn't that I'm trying to remember who was saying that. So was it Roberta Flack? But they said Luther Vandross was up on that. I don't remember that. But Gift from Virgo was cute. Daddy was cute. Yes was a bop. Me, Myself, and I, like, Be With You. There was, look, Hip Hop Star. There was a bunch of bops all over that record. So I don't know what the hell they was listening to. But yeah, for the most part, the ones that we mentioned, those were like the biggest hits that came from that. So yeah, those songs did well. Then she came out with Destiny Fulfilled. We had Lose My Breath, Soldier, and that came out in 2004. So they continued with that. But I really wish that Destiny's Child would have continued. Like, even when they did their solo stuff, I do hope that soon down the road, once she's done with the Cowboy Carter era, which I know the tour is about to start for that soon, that she would give us more, which would be but they would go and do like a stadium tour or something with Destiny's Child. Like, I would love that. And then the girls have their own individual moments with their solo stuff while everybody else is taking a little break. Like, I would love for them to have that. Okay, so now, speaking of which, because we was talking about Jay-Z being brought in as a tastemaker for the album, let's get into some tea regarding Jay-Z, which is Tina's, spilling tea about their relationship. So according to Mama Knowles, the pair's romance began as a friendship after they met in the early 2000s. Beyonce had developed a friendship with him solely over the phone, is what she wrote in the memoir. They provided good counsel to each other as they discussed the industry, each sharing a single confidence in their artistic vision. Now, when the rapper, now 55, visited the Knowles family hometown of Houston for a concert, Beyonce's mom invited him over for dinner. As Beyonce and Jay then kept up with each other in calls, the friendship deepened. This is what she recalls. She said she would tell me, "He's just so nice." Now, at the time, however, Beyonce, who's now 43, was also talking to another guy in the industry who was interested in pursuing a relationship with her. I wonder who it was. Somebody tried to say Biz Markie. I'm like, y'all a mess. Why y'all gonna say that? Because Jay-Z looked like how he looked. You thinking she gonna go after a Biz Markie? Now, they said while the Grammy winner was in LA filming 2002's Austin Powers and Goldmember, both Jay-Z and the other guy were coming to visit, so she asked her mom for advice about what to do. And then Tina said, "Well, who do you like the most? Who do you enjoy talking to more?" I watched her think it was Jay. Isn't it humbling how love can begin with such a simple feeling? You are talking to someone over the phone. You're 21 years old and you can't know someday you will take that love to the stars, but it begins with such a small instinct. Well, I guess she had no problem with the fact that, how old was Jay when he got with her? Was he like 38 and she was 21? And you was okay with that? But I guess maybe it was different because when they both in the industry, you feel that she's kind of an old soul anyway, and Beyonce kind of gives that. Like, she's an old soul, and she was so career focused, and Jay-Z's another one. And they felt like, you know what, with these two together, they developed this friendship over because, he was at the height of his career at the time. Her career was blossoming, going from Destiny's Child, and being successful in that on to transitioning into her solo endeavors. And them to getting together is sort of like, Fisk and Vanessa over there on Daredevil. They, together y'all are unstoppable. So that's probably why she was okay with them two getting together. So now Beyonce ultimately chose Jay, obviously, as their friendship got more serious. Knowles met Jay's mother, Gloria Carter, his grandmother, Hattie White, the one featured on Freedom from Beyonce's Lemonade, and his two sisters. That was the start of the Carter and Knowles families joining as one family, and we are all very close to this day. This is what she says. Our gatherings will become parties, rich with laughter and storytelling, drinking and dancing. In the Bible, it says to eat, drink, and be merry, and that's what our evenings are like with the Carters. Now, when Beyonce and Jay tied the knot in April of 2008, Knowles designed her daughter's wedding dress. I'm like, child, you had the House of Diarrhea designing the stuff? Why, Ebony? Why? But and then look at Beyonce. That's why she was darker. She said she was always light skinned. No, sis, she was fair skinned. Something going on. They said they had the wedding at the house on April 4th because it was the only place where we knew it wouldn't get out. We had a lady make white curtains to cover the walls and windows, right up to the 25-foot ceilings. The details are my daughters and son-in-laws, but what I will say is that I joined Jay's grandmother and mother in cooking all the food. We did soul food, of course, the best food for a night of dancing and family love. Now, while the book doesn't delve too deep into personal details about Jay's relationship with Bay, Knowles is clear that she thinks both the 99 Problems artist and Kelly Rowland's husband, Tim Witherspoon, as her sons, saying they are true blessings and I could not ask for better providers and protectors of my daughters and their children, and I'm always touched that their sense of protection extends to me, she wrote. Jay is an example for his children, starting with very humble beginnings and overcoming every obstacle in the world to be the successful businessman he is. Tim is humble and quiet and incredibly perceptive, managing Kelly's career for years before becoming an executive at Nickelodeon. Even with all the things they are involved in, their best performance is as fathers. And as y'all know, Beyonce has 3 kids with Jay, Blue Ivy, who's 13, Rumi and Searle, who are twins, who are 7, and Roland, who has kids with Witherspoon, who's 51, she's 44, and their parents have sons Titan, who's 10, and Noah, who's 4. So shout out to them on that. And last but certainly not least, the next story that we can get into, because I told it was going to be a lot, because I'm giving y'all all the details. Tina opened up about her marriage to Richard Lawson and why it didn't work out. So in an interview with Entertainment Tonight, because it's like she was doing the promotional rounds and they were just bringing up everything. So, and with the way they all be doing these interviews, I'm like, do we really need to read the book? And I wonder if she's going to go on Sherry Shepherd and The View and all the other. So I don't know. I haven't watched The View in the past couple of days. So I don't know if she probably appeared on there already. And I don't know if she did Sherry Shepherd because I don't particularly care for her. So, but I'm sure she will go on there because she's been on the show before. Now, Tina reflected on that time when rumors were swirling that her daughter Beyonce was walking around with a fake baby bump, saying, it was one of the hardest times of my life when they started the rumor that Bey wasn't really pregnant. She shared that Beyonce had suffered miscarriages before finally reaching a safer trimester in her pregnancy with Blue. Then, just as things were moving forward, the fake baby bump rumors took off on social media. And that was because that time when she sat down, I think for an interview, and she was wearing that dress. It looked like it was a little tangerine dress, whatever, that it looked like it folded. And remember, Wendy Williams started that. I won't say she started the rumor, but she kind of instigated it. There was a lot of people that was going around saying that. I think even TMZ started speculating. So she said, for someone to start that rumor, I want to go off on people. I wanted to set the record straight, and she, as in Beyonce, would not allow me to talk. And y'all notice, like, a lot of times when it comes to her daughter, you know, Tina gets in the mama bear mode, and she ready to go off on anybody that talk mess about her daughter. And it's right, you know, it's you know, not surprising that she would do that, because Tina is not training this whole situation. It's like, nah, y'all gonna keep coming out saying something about my child. I'm about to windmill y'all verbally. And Beyonce just like, let it go. Like, don't even address it. Which I think annoys people sometimes, but I'm glad that she don't give people she doesn't take the bait a lot of times when people want her to come out and say stuff. Now, in a separate interview with Oprah, I told her she's talking to everybody. She reflected on an excerpt from a newly released memoir where she recalls the support she received from her friend Tyler Perry when she made the difficult decision to part ways from her marriage to Richard Lawson, who's 78. Now, Tina and Richard, who had been longtime friends, tied the knot in 2015 and divorced after 8 years of marriage in 2023. She said, quote, I told Tyler what happened and he loves Richard also. He said, I'm very sad to hear that, but you know, this marriage isn't bringing out the best in me. She continued, I have finally found my worth and I know that I deserve to be happy. I know I deserve for someone to be happy when they see me and to celebrate me, and it's not doing it for me. It's bringing out the worst in me and it's got to stop. And I believe that because remember, there was been times when she would be out here with Richard Lawson, and when she was in that marriage, Tina was coming across like she was just scorn, like she was mad. Like her energy was just stink. And she had that resting bitch face, which is the picture on the right. She ain't look happy. I don't know if it was all that shit she been putting on her face that made her look forever mean, or just that Richard was bringing out the worst in her. And clearly that's what it was. But you want to know something? I'm glad at the end of the day, Tina chose her. That she was like, you know what? I don't need a man to make me complete. I've been married 2 times. whatever the issues behind both married, well, we already know Magic was out there cheating and got a whole nother baby by a whole nother woman while he was in a relationship with her. So I could totally understand that. But whatever the issue that was going on between you and Richard, and you realizing, you know what, I don't know, I chose my best, this guy who I was friends with. I didn't want to really get married or whatever the case was, but it just, I was dealing with so much probably with Matthew at the time that I just jumped into another relationship. And I'm thinking, this guy is like a good close friend of mine. And you always are told this or have this belief that I got to grow old with my best friend, or I got to go old with somebody who is a friend. And you always hear the story that people say that friends make great lovers because y'all know each other. And then you see it didn't work out. So whatever the issue is, and I know she didn't really go into detail according to the story. I don't think she did. But if you're going to set an example and be like, you know what, I choose me at the end of the day, then I don't feel no ways tired about it. So I'm glad that you decided to choose yourself instead of getting caught up in a relationship where you're unhappy, because it does set a good example, not only for Beyonce and Solange, who Solange left her man when he did her dirty, and if Jay-Z do Beyonce dirty post Lemonade, then she could know to walk away too, that she's not going to be caught up with this man for the rest of her life. If you're going to do her dirty, I believe he learned his lesson after everything that, you know, we learned from Lemonade. And setting the example by being the matriarch, that does set a good example, not only for your daughters, but for your grandson, Jules, as well. So that way you know how to value and respect women. But then we heard them stories about Jules out here in these streets. So I don't know if it's working, but, but I say shout out to you, Tina, with all this detail that you spilling. And my question is for you all: are y'all planning on getting this book, Matriarch, from Mama Tina? Because, you know, I did give y'all a couple of the juicy details, but I'd be interested to know if y'all gonna buy this book. But look, like I said before, she came out with a book, and Matthew Knowles came out with a book. But it don't seem like a lot of people care about the Matthew Knowles book. I don't even know what he's talking about up in there, quite frankly. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right. So I was like, look like I'm probably going to go over 3 hours in this episode. Normally I've just been keeping it under 3, I mean. Wait, hold on. Let me see where I'm going at. Okay. You said, how about her Twitter hack? Oh, I do wonder if she mentions that. She wasn't hacked. That Jay-Z tweet, like, still got me wondering. I hope she didn't leave out Solange. Where they at? I wonder if she addressed the elevator incident. Yeah, I made myself work out. Keep your back strong. Nancy was following the Supremes blueprint. Beyonce getting the film roles and beauty campaigns before going solo, building her up slowly. Interesting, she didn't have a solo blow until, well, yeah. Because it was like Aaliyah was that girl at one point. And then it was all of that. Oh, yeah, I forgot about Deja Vu. And you said R.I.P. So many bops on that album and that cover. Child, we know he liked the not the trainees. They said they wanted to use their star power to capitalize on media, especially Black media. Yeah, and we know they're the most powerful people in controlling the narrative. They said the melanin of it all be shifting. Yeah, because I was like, girl, remember once upon a time when you was a couple of shades darker than you are now. So when people were bringing up them comments about Beyonce all of a sudden looking rather lighter than usual, and then Tina Knowles getting all upset that people were questioning it, it's like, man, we remember when Beyonce and them first came out. She was not that light. I'm light skinned. She fair skinned. There's a difference. She's a little darker. Anyway, you say, yeah, I remember Beyonce was doing a lot of commercials for Revlon before her first album came out. Yeah, they definitely was. Even though, you know, she was a part of an ensemble, they were pushing Beyonce to be kind of the focal point of the group and to kind of be the Diana Ross, as was stated. And then she ended up going solo. And yeah, she probably did kind of give the other girls time to do whatever it was they doing because she don't want to come across playing into those rumors. But we know Beyonce got an ego. Okay, so now we have 4 more topics left to the end of the show. So if you can, please do me a solid, hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And also after the live stream, I will be putting in timestamps for all the topics so that way you can follow along and skip right to whatever topic that tickles your fancy rather than sitting through all the live stream banter that I usually do on this here show. Please and thank you. So now without further ado, let's get into some music debate news. So Tank is out here getting scalped all over social media because people got issues with what he said. Well, he basically is talking about that he basically revealed an updated list of his top R&B vocalists, which dividing artists into female and male categories. But he also explained that his selections were based on 4 key vocal attributes: range, dynamics, control, and agility. Now, hold on as I pull up the Instagram post because apparently people got mad with his choice. But he said, top R&B vocalist of all time for me, because you got to point stuff out. For me, as in for him. But people was getting mad. So, criteria, well, he said male, Stevie Wonder, Donny Hathaway. He spelled Luther Vandross wrong. Well, Vandross is R-O-S-S. But he put Luther Vandross, Stokely Williams, Joe Thomas, Tank, Usher Raymond. He put himself up in there, of course, because if you don't love yourself and you don't appreciate what you do yourself, how in the hell, you going to love somebody else, right? In the words of RuPaul. So, hold on. So, yeah. So he put who else he put? Tank, Usher Raymond, Chris Brown, Charlie Wilson, Wanya Morris, Casey Haley, and Mario. For the females, he put Aretha Franklin, Chaka Khan, Celine Dion, Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, Brandy, Jasmine Sullivan, Beyonce, Fantasia, Layla Hathaway, Faith Evans, and Kiki Wyatt. So, of course, people are mad because he did not put other people that they wanted him to put, because I'm sitting here trying to pull up his Instagram on my phone as I'm doing this. So yeah, and of course people in the comments was all mad because he didn't put R. Kelly. But he said he don't particularly R. Kelly's not, a better singer than Chris Brown. I mean Usher, but we'll get into that. But I was gonna say, okay, so I found it because I was looking at a different one. One person said it's wild to have CB on the greatest vocalist list of all time when he, quiet as kept, Chris Brown used a lot of auto-tune and don't even be singing live when he performed anyway. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day, but that's who they picked. That's what we're going with. Another person said, y'all keep saying R. Kelly, but forget that he has no falsetto and does not transition from chest to head voice well. Still a legend, though. And then Tank said, thank you, because a lot of people was getting mad over his choice. Another person got mad because he ain't put Kim Burrell up in there. And I'm sitting there like, reading is fundamental. He said, for me, top R&B vocalist of all time for me. That's his opinion. Y'all can put in debate and like, you know what, I respect your opinion, but here's my choice. It'd be easy if y'all put that. But y'all, reading is fundamental. I don't know if y'all slow. Y'all got ear infections or eye infections, cataracts. I don't know. But that's what he's saying for him. Shit. And then he went and put out 3 hours ago, but now 7 hours ago, where he put my favorite vocalists, the ones I studied. Males, it would be Mitchell Jones, Reverend John P. Key, Fred Hammond, Eric Dawkins, Isaac Carey, or is it Carey? Stokely Williams, he put that again. Then he put R. Kelly. Hopefully we didn't put this because you was getting all that backlash. Babyface, Casey Haley, Sean Stockman. And for females, now he put Kim Burrell, Brandy, the Clark Sisters, Kim McFarlane, Faith Evans, Anita Baker, Mary J. Blige, he spelled it Blige, and Sade. I'm not going to clown you too much over the misspellings. But yeah, of course, people got mad that what he put. And then he said, stop saying R. Kelly is a better singer than Usher. He is not. And that's saying a lot coming from me because Kells is my favorite artist, but this is not about favorites. He's talking about vocalists. And yeah, R. Kelly is a great writer And yeah, he'd be able to write them songs the way he could write it in the register that he sings. But when somebody brings up that he's not good with, he has no falsetto and does not transition from chest to head voice, because yes, there's two different things. There's a chest voice, there's a head voice. When you're talking about transitioning and you understand vocal precision, then that is what they're talking about. They're not talking about what y'all be hearing on y'all ears when y'all listen to a song that's been recorded, or however you feel when you've seen him live. But if you're somebody who has a good ear for music, I think I would take their advice over some regular people on social media with a damn opinion. So people jumped in the comments trying to drag Tank for what he said and said, Kells is a better singer than you, so remove yourself and add him. Another person said, Kells is a better singer than Usher. Are you high or something? Someone by the name of Brittany Fears, which I think is funny, they said R. Kelly is a way better singer than Usher. Another person said, clearly a lot of y'all have never been to an R. Kelly concert and heard him sing a cappella. Another person said, folks be real jealous of R. Kelly. There's no R&B without the R. Okay, first of all, R&B, this is what kills me when y'all be coming up with that stuff. R&B existed long before there was a damn R. Kelly, so y'all gonna stop with that foolishness. That's like when that dingbat went and said pop music didn't exist. Who was it that they said? Pop music, when they were talking about pop music, and then all of a sudden they included, I can't remember. I can't even make my damn point because I totally forgot what the damn story was. And this is a couple of weeks ago when we talked about this, and it was a whole pop music debate. Y'all let me know in the comments if y'all remember. So, yeah. So now they're talking about R. Kelly is the best male vocalist of all time. So now, another person said Usher can't sing for Ish next to R. Kelly, and neither can you. So of course, I got to come over here with y'all little shade. So yeah, then other people went when he went and posted his thing. He put, his re-up. We added new stuff. They said, no, Kim Burrell, you tripping. And then the real Tank responded, or maybe this is a R&B list and not a gospel one. And that's where it goes to show, like, are y'all slow? When he talks about R&B singers, stick to the conversation. Stick to the genre that he's referring to. And when you look at Usher is more like R&B pop. R. Kelly is not necessarily, R. Kelly does R&B mostly. I think in lots of it does a little, his beats be a little hip hopish and stuff too. But I've never seen like R. Kelly cross over into the whole pop realm. But he's talking about R&B vocalists or his favorite vocalists. So yeah, this is why I hate this whole debate thing, because it's apples and oranges, and at the end of the day, people are, art, music, vocal ability, all that stuff is subjective. And so I was like, last but certainly not least, I had to pull this picture up because remember, once upon a time, look, I don't think Usher and R. Kelly got any ill will against each other, because look, they did a song together once upon a time. So shout out to y'all. And I definitely want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this story in regards of what Tank had to say in regards to this? He was just giving his opinion on his favorite R&B vocalist and starting a debate was basically saying, like, I feel that Usher is a better vocalist than R. Kelly. And to me, when you look at Usher, he has way more range, and because he's always someone who is all about perfecting his craft, and has always been about perfecting his craft over the years, which is why they call him, like, he is the ultimate showman. Like, the way he presents himself on stage, the way he performs, his vocal, prowess. So to me, it's like R. Kelly is a great songwriter. He's an immense artist, and nobody's taking that away from him. But in my opinion, and I said mine, as in me, hello, hi, how you doing? I feel that Usher is a better singer, but R. Kelly is the better writer. Same thing like with Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is a great songwriter, not the greatest singer, but she's a good songwriter and a good storyteller, and so is R. Kelly. And R. Kelly sings in the key that he can sing in, but I feel like Usher is the better singer. Usher's the better artist. So I agree with what Tank had to say. But I definitely want to hear from y'all. Because like I said, art, music, singing, all that good stuff is subjective. What I like and what I agree with, I don't expect you to agree with it. We're all going to have differences of opinion. So respectfully, I want to hear from y'all in the comments down below. Magical Mermaid says R. Kelly knows how to write a great song, though. Exactly. Oh, you said Janet's skin tone has flopped back and forth. And Kelly is more destructive. Ooh. Well, I wasn't trying to bring that up, but since you brought it up. All right. So now, I was like, damn, wait, what story are we going into? Because I just realized, oh yeah, I got it. I messed it up. I think I moved some things out of place. Let me make some adjustments. Because at one point I had brought up the JoJo's. I realized when I was putting the show together, I was like, I was going to bring up that Jojo Siwa topic, and I couldn't find it. And then I remember I was like, wait a minute, I'm missing something. And now I got it. So now let's move on to the next topic. And let's get into some homosexual news. Because if you've been catching up with Celebrity Big Brother and all the stuff that's been going on social media, apparently Jojo Siwa said she's not a lesbian anymore. She said, I am queer. I am queer, queer, queer. So yeah. So, you know, her little fling, I don't know what the hell you want to call it. She and Chris Hughes are getting pretty close over there on Celebrity Big Brother. Shout out to Tommy Italiano, who's been keeping me abreast of everything that's going on, because he keeps sending me a lot of clips over on TikTok. And I do have one of the clips that I want to play on, where she basically opens up about, you know, changing like her new revelations, because she's getting, I guess, her hanging out with Chris Hughes and her being in the house, and you know, when you can find a one space and y'all just being filmed 24/7, you know, when you're in this pressure cooker, you do, I guess you feel, you start making you question things, and she's questioning things. So yeah, I have this clip courtesy of Tommy over at TikTok, where she's opening up to Danny Beard about her sexuality. Please hold.
Being here, I realized, oh no, I'm not lesbian, I'm queer.
It's official. Jojo Siwa has officially retracted being a lesbian. And to add more controversy, she was caught on the live feeds getting into bed with Chris Hughes again. If you don't know what's going on in the Big Brother house, I have all the details. Do you think Jojo Siwa renounced being a lesbian because she met Chris Hughes? Jojo recently said she's feeling unfulfilled with her partner after meeting Chris Hughes. The Dance Moms star and the former Love Island star have continued to raise eyebrows over their flirty friendship in the house, which have established as much more than a friendship, but we'll get into that. Jojo Siwa, 21, and Chris Hughes, 32, were caught sharing a very intimate exchange on Celebrity Big Brother live stream on Monday night. I've been reporting since day one of Jojo Siwa getting in the Big Brother house, and it's controversial because she has an alleged partner at home, and she's been developing a relationship with Chris Hughes. This is not the only thing I discovered. I found Jojo Siwa and Chris Hughes sharing a steamy moment in the hot tub on the live stream. I want to be exceptionally clear. I think Jojo Siwa has the right to question her identity. However, it seems like an opportune time to gain publicity and ratings, especially in her recent controversy and scandal. As always, this video is for entertainment purposes only. All statements are alleged and speculative.
Okay, so you pretty much got the gist. And I kind of think I was thinking the same thing before I even saw the video. That was the first time I actually watched that clip. But it was like, yeah, I was of two minds about it. Like, here I am thinking, like, you know what? Sometimes things happen. You feel one way about something where it's like, you know what? She's 21 years old. He's in his 30s, though, which I'm going to get on that in a second, because there was something he had her do in the house that I was like, this is a little squeamish. Like, what are you doing? But to me, over the past, like when we've been watching JoJo, when she came out of the closet, and then she started with the Karma song, which was a Miley Cyrus rejected track, and then she's been doing a lot of stuff out in these streets. It felt, okay, who are you? Who are you trying to be? You're still trying to figure out who you are, so it does come across as like thirsty for attention with a lot of the antics and stuff. And I was thinking that as well with her being in the Celebrity Big Brother house. And I was like, you know what? You are giving like, it just feels like, okay, you being a little thirsty, or this is an attention grab. And because Mickey Rourke is no longer in the house, now how are we going to keep the rating? How are we going to keep driving up the ratings? So we need to create this narrative of this girl who it came out as a lesbian, might have feelings for this boy. Now, I don't want people to start thinking that all of a sudden that, you know what, you have, so being gay is a choice. That all of a sudden, if you haven't met the right person of the opposite sex, and if you meet the right person, that they can make you change over into liking something else. She's still young enough where she's trying to figure out who she is, and I hope this is, her authentically being herself, and not some stunt y'all trying to pull, like I said, for some ratings. But because sexuality is not a game, it's not something we play with. We see too many of y'all gay for pays, the Wild Boys, are running around here trying to play up the whole gay thing for a check, for attention, for relevancy. And then now you up in here doing it. So I hope that's not what that is. I hope that this is genuinely you like realizing, you know what? Sexuality is fluid. It's not a black and white sort of thing. And I do think that with her being 21, you should be out there sowing your wild oats and playing, trying all different flavors of the ice cream. So that way you know what you like and you know what you don't like. That sexuality, like I said, is fluid. So I hope that she will take this opportunity to explore her stuff. So she went on and said this: you have a female, you have a male, you have a lot of females, love them, don't feel like I'm them. I've met a lot of males, love them, definitely not them, she explained while the sports presenter sat beside her. I've met a lot of people in my life that are non-binary, and these beautiful non-binary people are who I feel like most like, and I don't know, it's not something that I want to say about myself yet, but it's something that is confusing. Yeah, like I said, sexuality is fluid. It takes a lot of people to figure out who they are. Nobody knows. There's some who know how to get, okay, I'm strictly, a homosexual, be it you're a female or a male. And then there's some that's like, I'm all about exploring all different things. So some people are gender nonconforming, some people are non-binary, some people or just like the word I like to use, queer, because it means that you're unique and you're into different things and not just going to secure yourself with one thing. So then JoJo's mother offered her support to her daughter via TikTok by reposting that moment and writing the caption, "What you are feeling inside is absolutely okay. You can talk about it whenever you decide. No pressure, no judgment, only love and support always." Now, and I think that all this is coming around because, after the whole aftermath of Mickey Rourke with the homophobic comments that he was making and basically saying that I guarantee you after me being in the house, if I'm in the house for 4 more days, you won't be gay no more. And now here you are, now that Mickey is gone because he was being a hot ass mess. Now all of a sudden you want to sow your wild oats with someone of the opposite sex. So it's kind of making it look like, so was Mickey Rourke right the whole time? Or is this like a stunt, like I said? So now, I was trying to look at what it was the thing. So then they said there was something that Chris. Oh, I found it because I was looking for I was like, did I miss it? Because they've been cuddling in bed and all that other stuff. And Chris is 32, by the way. She's 21. So that's why I'm like, no, I'm a little with the age thing because there was a sequence where he asked her to lick chocolate off his shorts, and she did it. So when you're out here doing sexual stuff with this man who's in his 30s and you 21, I'm kind of looking at y'all like, what are y'all doing? I understand this is good TV and all this other stuff and ratings, and y'all got to try to do what y'all got to do to keep people invested into the show. Now that Mickey Rourke is not there, we need to make keep people invested. So I hope that this is genuinely you exploring your sexuality and trying to figure out where you coming from, rather than you out here pulling stunts in the shows to expand on your 15 minutes. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you think that JoJo is exploring her sexuality and trying to, come to terms that, what, I'm not strictly into being with women, that I would entertain the idea that I'm non-binary or I'm queer or someone who is like, I'm just in love with the soul or the person. And that's what attracts me. It's not necessarily about genitalia. It's not necessarily about them being of the same gender. That it's just like, if I happen to come in close proximity and we vibe in and there's a spark there, then I'll date you. I don't care who you are, man, woman, non-binary, whatever the case is. So I want to hear from y'all. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. All right, so we have Go JoJo. Go JoJo. Inumbria says, I knew it. She always looked like a really impressionable girl that is trying to find herself. Yeah, she definitely feels like she could be easily impressionable. But at 21 and in your 20s, that's the perfect time that you should be out here trying to figure out who you are and finding yourself. So I ain't mad at her. Get your fix, JoJo, then go home. Okay? He says straight guy hooks up with men in prison all day long. That doesn't make him gay. Maybe she just needed. Yeah, because I'm like, when you're in that pressure cooker, like, who the hell, I was just going to sit around waiting for my girlfriend. Or maybe, you know what, if she's exploring these feelings, it's like, well, was your relationship before you went on Big Brother solid, before you started doing what you're doing with Chris? And my thing is this, when when you get eliminated or y'all end up leaving the house, you have to deal with the aftermath of that. Excuse me, when once you leave. 31 flavors. Okay. So to try every flavor of the ice cream might not be good for her career. Next up, child, who paying for that? I don't see her on no OnlyFans. Not a JoJo fan, but she's still discovering herself outside of the Nickelodeon bubble. That's what people need to realize. She didn't have a normal teen life where sexuality is included. Yeah, that's what I said. She's still in the early stage. She a baby gay. So she's still trying to figure out when I was 21, trust and believe, I was still trying to figure out who the hell I was. So I say live and let live, but that's why I was like, I had to bring up both sides. Like I'm of two minds in the situation. I think they wanted Mickey Rourke gone because he was 72 and refused to change his ways for the modern world that people want. Well, no, Mickey Rourke he was just an asshole, and I guess they thought that they can control him, and he wasn't going to come on being that inappropriate. I thought he'd have some kind of decorum. Like, you can say things that's off the cuff and unfiltered, but he was just being real low class, and I think that has turned a lot of people off, including people that worked on the show. All right. Let me see. Let me close out some of this stuff because we got two more topics left. So let's get to our second to last topic. And let's give a huge congratulations to the Boulay brothers, but I think we all pretty much knew that they would be returning for a seventh season of Dragula, because we had season 666 that just passed. But I'm like, I don't know if I like the idea of having to wait so long for a new season. But we got a lot of Dragula coming. Because it's like, look, we've been oversaturated with Drag Race. I need my other fix too. So Shudder has renewed the Emmy-nominated reality competition series, The Boulay Brothers Dragula, for a seventh season, and renewed its all-star spinoff, The Boulay Brothers Dragula Titans, for season 2. So the renewal is part of drag stars Dracmorda and Swanthula Boulay's new multi-project deal with the streaming service. I heard there's also another. Damn, I wish I would have remembered what the competition series was, but I heard that there's another competition series that was just renewed that was not renewed, but is coming to Shudder. So, Boulay, y'all got some competition. I think I don't know if it has to do with like Monster Makeup or something other, because I was like, oh, if they could bring Face Off back and put that over on Shudder, that would be great, because I loved Face Off when that was on. So yeah, they said that Titans has been renewed for season 2, while it also greenlit a new holiday special called The Boulay Brothers Holiday of Horrors, featuring Late Night with the Devil star David Dastmalchian as a co-host. And if y'all watch Dragula, you already know David Dastmalchian has been part of the show for the past couple of seasons. He's always come on as a judge. So I like that David's going to be a part of this. I'm a fan of his. I loved him in Late Night with the Devil and so many other movies. He was also in The Dark Knight. He's been around a lot of films. And so I'm glad that he's getting his just due, and he's being a huge part of the whole Dragula family. So I should point out that production began this week on Titan Season 2, which will be the first to premiere later this year on Shudder and AMC+. No premiere dates have been announced for Dragula or Holiday of Horrors. Well, I would think that Holiday of Horrors will be coming out close to December. If Titans is coming out now, I would assume that they would have that. Well, what are we in April? I would think that they would, put that together and have that out by June or July. I don't know, around that time. And then we can get Dragula sometime around September, October. And then when that's wrapped up, then we get another season of or the holiday special, which I think y'all should do that for now, so that way we can get a lot of Dragula, because I don't want to have to wait so long for Dragula to come up on my TV screen. So now they said, we're positively enthralled to extend our unholy alliance with Shudder and AMC Plus through this multi-season pack, the Boulay brothers said in a joint statement Wednesday morning. It ensures the underworld stays wide open for many years to come, welcoming fresh souls, darker tales, and even more monstrous mayhem. We're especially excited to be writing and directing the Holiday of Horrors anthology special alongside some of our dearest friends and fresh new blood of the horror genre. Together, we're summoning something truly diabolical, and this is only the beginning of the nightmares to come. And I also love that they're so hands-on with a lot of the stuff regarding the show. So, where they write and they direct, and they're very hands-on with it, which I don't know if I like the idea that they direct the episodes of Dragula, because to me, it's like, y'all know too much of what's going on instead of me, I'm thinking like y'all could judge fairly, which they seem to have been doing so far. But I'm like, if y'all even behind the camera filming everything, even down to like when they're in the workroom and you're there actually on set while they're filming everything and you're directing, I don't know, it's like RuPaul doing that, but we know RuPaul won't be directing. They just got the cameraman filming, and then he just comes in, does a hello, 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 and then, steps out, and then he only shows up to be the personality and the executive producer. So now AMC Network's EVP of linear and streaming products, Courtney Tomasma, I think they said, we're thrilled to expand our partnership with Boulay Brothers, who bring the iconic and passionate flair to every project they've ever touched, and continue to push boundaries in the reality competition space. We can't wait to see what Drac and Swan's vision takes the audience next. So I'm excited for not only for Boulay Brothers Dracula, I'm excited for Titans, and because they said, it's EP'd and produced and directed by the Boulays, and they're rep by CAA and managed by PEG. So shout out to PEG, shout out to CAA, shout out to Shudder, shout out to the Boulays, and I'm in this holiday special. So I'm looking forward to all the the Dragula stuff that's coming our way, because it is one of my in addition to Drag Race, it is one of my favorite drag competition shows on TV, and with that, the alternative show on the alternative side of drag, I hope that we can get more ideas and more iterations of drag on our TV screens besides what we're getting from Drag Race and Dragula. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding the latest news on the Boulay Brothers Dragula? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Onyx says, I really want to start watching Dragula. I know yes, you will, because it is a good show. My only issue with Dragula is I feel like they try to milk too much drama. Like a lot of the drama feels fake. So that's my only thing. It doesn't feel authentic. But I love the runways that they do. I like all the shots and all the work they put into the drag, the filth, the horror and the glamour. I love I just love seeing that side of drag and how creative these girls are too, where you see that they create a lot of their looks. It's not like they show up with I'm gonna take out 2 loans in my house to come with a whole line of clothes. They create all of that in the workroom. So I like that idea, how these girls are just creative without having to break the bank. And I'm sure they do come with pieces and things, and they get an itinerary of, actually, one of my friends, David, I remember his son was is an alternative drag queen and a tattoo artist, and they were trying to get him on the show, but I don't think he auditioned. So hopefully he comes on. They do say boule. You so stupid. Ole goule. Oh, meow. I wish there was an alternative competition that wasn't horror based, something for the elves and others. There's so many different aspects of drag. They have evil looking elves. They can come on with the elf ears and all that other stuff. You say yes, their narratives are contrived. I like alternative drag much more than me too. Not bikini floss queens that don't pad. You mean like Venus, who we talked about yesterday on the show? So yeah, I'm more or less. I've always been more of a fan of the alternative drag than the pageant, well-polished drag that they do over on Drag Race. That's why I love the idea that the Boulets celebrate all aspects of drag. It's like, we're not going to sit and judge you off of everything that you've done throughout the show. We do it based off the challenges at hand because drag and art and all that is subjective. And they still do drag and perform and travel around the world, do all that stuff. So I like what they're doing over there creatively. All right, y'all. So without further ado, let's get to our final topic and let's talk about Drag Race All-Stars 10. So I was not expecting to wake up this morning and meet the new queens of All-Stars 10. But when they dropped the list and I saw who was a part of it, I was like, this is pretty much, and I think we all knew it. We all know who the queens were because the list of queens was revealed last year. So damn you, Reddit, for spoiling who the queens were or are, now that we know who they are now. So yeah, All Stars 10 has finally broken a franchise record as a collective entity that's bigger than Maddie Morpheus's pit stop wig. So RuPaul Drag Race All Stars is commemorating its 10th season with a record 18 queens competing to join the Drag Race Hall of Fame and win a cash prize of $200,000. I kind of wish for this thing they would have given them way more than $200K, but I guess we'll take whatever we can. So those queens won't all be competing at once, which we've heard this story that they weren't going to be competing at once. We heard the rumor that they were going to be split into groups of 3, which turns out to not be a rumor anymore. It is actually true. They're going to be split into 3 groups of 6, but we know now it is Team Purple, Team Orange, and Team Pink for what the show is dubbing the Tournament of All-Stars. Each group will compete in their own brackets over 3 episodes, with the top 3 queens who receive the most points in each group moving on to the semifinals. The final 9 queens will further compete over 2 more episodes, concluding with a lip-sync smackdown for the crown. Wait, I'm confused. So they said there's going to be 3 episodes. We get 2 episodes during the premiere day, which I believe is May 9th, right? So then the following week, I guess we get the final group of 6 who are going to compete. Then after that, they said the final 9 queens will further compete over 2 more episodes. So is that only 5 episodes? What kind of season is that? This is what I'm assuming. Or am I horrible at math? Based on what I'm reading. So yeah, they said the final 9 queens will further compete over 2 more episodes, concluding with a lip sync smackdown for the crown. This would be a weekly thing after that. Because I don't like the whole, oh yeah, it's going to be 2 more episodes. So the final 9 will be 2 episodes after that. And then y'all crown a queen. I'm like, huh? Are y'all on a budget? Because then after that, it should be like, yeah, final 9. Then we break it on down because it's giving me All Stars 1 with this kind of situation. Now, while the bulk of the queens competing on season 10 come from later seasons of Drag Race, including 1 queen from the just concluded season 17, that will be Lydia Butthole Collins. We'll get into her. The field of contestants includes an alumni as far back as seasons 2 and 3. So I do find it funny that, yeah, they're going to have Lydia come up on the show, and then when she walk in the workroom, they're going to be like, who's that? That'll be the ultimate cackle. Because I'm sitting there like, nobody knows who Lydia is because y'all weren't in the room when she was filming her season. And Ru was good here. I need her to retire that George Washington wig. How many times am I going to have to bring that up? Like, she's going through her Alexis Carrington Colby phase. But anyway, so without further ado, because there goes our full list of queens that y'all can check out. Let's get into, so yeah, May 19th, it drops at 12 a.m. Eastern Time and 9 p.m. over on the West Coast. Which is good because then at midnight, I could just go right to it. Because before, I believe, like when you do the streaming services, they usually drop at like 3 a.m. and then it's 12 midnight on the West Coast. So I'm glad that they're doing 12 a.m. Eastern Time and 9 p.m. Pacific. I'm going to say specific. So yeah, now, according to Paramount Plus, we'll just go through their biographies. So Team Purple, we have Acid Betty, who was on season 8 and came in 8th place. They said, let the acid trip begin. Season 8's unapologetic iconoclast, Acid Betty, returns to the competition to kick ass and take names. She's a gifted visual artist whose punk rock vibes and unfiltered attitudes stood out in the workroom and on the main stage, making her a hardcore contender for the crown. Now, I love me some Acid Betty because, you know, she is a New York queen, so I'm definitely rooting to see, like, how far she's come post her season, which was the season she was on with Bob, who said he ain't coming back to do All-Stars. Now let's go into our next queen, which would be Alyssa Hunter, who was on season 14 and was How many girls was on that season? Was it was she the first? Was she the porn top of the season, or was she like was she chopped second? Because it says she came in 13th place. Now it says it's officially hunting season because I know damn well she wasn't no trade or no damn season 15. I'm tired of y'all trying to say these pretty queens were trade. Trade is, by definition, a guy who is DL or straight acting who y'all can easily pull. Someone of the same sex could actually, with the right amount of persuasion, you can slop that knob or back that ass up on that thing. That's what trade is. So I love how y'all just co-opted trade to make it seem like it's just some pretty queen. That's just, just a pretty queen, I guess. That's all I'll add to it. I ain't going to even try to elaborate. So fellow contestants better watch out. You might end up as prey for this polished pageant queen because this Puerto Rican knockout has her sights set on All Stars glory. Now, speaking of Latin queens, let's get to Miss Cuckoo herself, Cynthia Lee Fontaine, who has appeared on season 8, came in 10th, and season 9, who also came in 10th. So every time she was on the show, she came in 10th place. Hopefully she don't come in 10th place on this show. It's time to get cuckoo. The beloved queen of season 8 and 9 is back. The Puerto Rican singer, cancer survivor, and activist from Texas has a heart of a champion and a zany charm that'll tickle your funny bone. So I'm definitely looking forward to her. I do like her. Now, speaking of which, we're gonna go from one Betty to another Betty, and that would be from Acid Betty to Diabetica herself, Diabetti. Season 14, Queen, who came in third because she made it all the way to the finale. The statuesque punk rock powerhouse of season 14 is back. After an early elimination, Diabetica battled her way back into the grand finale, proving she's the ultimate comeback kid, bold, outspoken, and relentless. She's hungry for the crown and willing to go all the way. Did she kind of get into it at one point? I'm trying to remember. Was she on the same season with Jasmine Kennedy? And them two went in on each other? Or something or another? And then she started, crying and stuff during the reunion and a bunch of other stuff. So look, Jasmine got into it quite a few people. She got into it with Maddie Morpheus. She got into it with Diabetti. But Diabetti was she was very she called it very opinionated. Girl, you was a shit stirrer. Shit starter and shit stirrer. But we'll see if she brings the drama this season or she's going to tone it back a little bit. I hope for our sake of us watching this show, you're not going to tone it back. Now, also on Team Purple, we have Denali, who was in season 13 at 8th place. Now, Drag's gold medal bitch has entered the tournament. Denali is an ice skating athlete turned lip sync assassin, and she trained hard for the Olympics of drag. Queens beware, she just might triple Lutz and leave the other queens skating on thin ice. And look, she said, since the show, she's been doing a lot of things. She's even drummed up a friendship with someone who I'm friends with, Crystal Waters. Shout out to her. And because, remember her iconic performance of 100% Pure Love. She basically was out that song, because of the performance and everything they did of that during the lip sync, it pushed the song back into the charts. And Crystal Waters is someone that if you Kiki and all this other stuff, you will get a response from her and Ultranate, who's another friend of mine too. So, the old disco, dance music icon, shout out to y'all. My black sisters. And it's funny how I grew up listening to Ultranate and I grew up listening to, Crystal Waters and, I can keep with them on a lot of stuff. So, and now I believe this is our last queen from Team Purple. And that'd be Ginger Minj, who shout out to one of my friends on social media. She was like, I'm tired of seeing Ginger Minj on my TV. I don't want to see Ginger Minj in this show. I like Ginger. But we'll see how far she gets on this competition. Because, she was a runner-up on season 7. She came in 8th place, All-Stars 2. All-Stars 6, she was a runner-up. Now, Ribbit, the glamour toad of Southern Fried Queen of Sass, Ginger Minj is back to get this competition cooking. The campy powerhouse from season 7, All-Stars 2 and 6 has been wowing fans for years on tours, in Vegas, in films, in TV projects, and she's a cookbook author. She's now ready for the next chapter in her story, becoming a winner, baby. And speaking of which, I heard that The new season of Untucked, you know, that they do with Drag Race in Las Vegas is out on Wow Presents Plus. So I got to check that out too. All right, so now let's move on to, I was like, should I start using these? Because there's like, you see, you have Team Purple there. Now let's go to Team Orange. And let's start talking about the girls up in the Team Orange category. So Team Orange, we got my girl Aja. Well, I'm glad to see her back on my TV because I love me some Aja. And she looks good. She came in 9th place on season 9. And you know her, you look like Miss Linda Evangelista, you're a model. Did you stone those tights? They eat her up every single time. That line is still iconic. We still say it. And she's our ballroom queen. And it's funny how she threw shade at them for the Noggin and all the other stuff, but she getting to compete on the show. So I guess, Alaska, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Yeah, just because you were attached to Willem with your race chaser, if they don't have no ill will over Aja's calling out the show over the Noggin, then I don't think they'll have a problem with you coming back to compete on All Stars or win the season. But anyway, Ayo Sis, let's get into Miss Aja, because she's in the building now. Part Harajuku, part Hood, all attitude. This Brooklyn-bred Banji queen from season 9 and All Stars 3 is back with a fast tongue, sickening voguing moves, and some unfinished business. She's here to cement her legacy and snatch that crown. We'll see how far she goes. Now, our next queen, since we go on to the trans girls, we're going to go from one to another. That's one Miss Bosco, who was on season 14 and came in 3rd place. So, yeah, she made it all the way to the finale. Seattle's Demon Queen is back with a monster appetite for the crown. Bosco was saved from elimination by a golden chocolate bar. That is chocolate thing was so stupid, but it is what it is. So yeah, in season 14, and clawed her way back to the finale. Now this burlesque beauty is armed with cutting-edge fashion and razor-sharp wit, and she's ready to slice through the competition. Now, speaking of season 14, there's another queen that was a part of season 14. That'd be Deja Scott, who also looks good, and she lost a lot of weight. Probably from Ozempic, but nevertheless, it doesn't matter. She lost weight. She looks good. She came in 6th place on her season, which was season 14, as I stated. Now, season 14's Pastel Princess is back, bringing the beauty mug, a bright sense of humor, and a personality as big as her talent. She single-handedly saved this season's Snatch Game. Yeah. Now the sky's the limit for Deja in this competition. Oh, well, here's the thing. She was the only one that was good on that season of Snatch Game. Snatch Game was terrible during her season, so she definitely saved the show. Or saved that challenge, which is why she was the only one that won. Now, Irene, the artist formerly known as Irene Dubois, who's going now by Irene the Alien, is competing. And, you know, she was the pork chop of the season. And that will be season 15, the Sasha Colby season. Greetings, Earthlings. Irene the Alien has landed from Seattle, ready to disrupt the competition. Her time on season 15 was short, but she made a lasting impact. This go around, her far-out looks and flair for the otherworldly will show the judges she's no one episode wonder. And when I heard that she was coming back, I was like, I really hope that she goes far, because one thing that I was mad about, and I liked what she brought. I love that she was shady. She was funny. I loved her looks. And I wanted her to be able to last long, and she didn't. And I think it was because her challenge was so stupid. Her talent show challenge. And that was, she's going to make a cup of ice water. And I think she did that because it was sort of like this play on Willow Pill's spaghetti thing with the throwing spaghetti in the tub and then the toaster and then like how stupid that whole thing was. She thought, I could just make a cup of ice water and you couldn't pull it out with them nails, the ice. So that you failed on that. And then the lip sync, you was a mess. So that's why you went home. But hopefully we're far better prepared this time. Now we have Olivia Lux, who's from season 13, who came in 5th place. Now, the delightful diva was the Megawatt Smile is back for the crown. She lit up season 13, and now she shines even brighter. A trained musician and proud member of the Miyake Mugler Ballroom House, she's bringing even more star power to the main stage, and this time, she's not playing nice. Yeah, because I always felt like Olivia was kind of putting on airs. Like, I always felt like she was holding back a little bit, and she was like, okay, I'm going to try to present myself a certain way on TV, but we'll see if she kind of adds a little edge to her situation. Now, a name we haven't heard from in a minute That'd be Miss Phoenix, who was on season 3 and came in 12th place. And remember when she first walked in the workroom and her and India Farrah had on the same wig? That was like a cackle moment. It was kind of like resembling of that situation when Coco Montrese was in the room, and then Alyssa Edwards is already in the room kikiing with the girls, and Coco Montrese comes, and you hear that big operatic music, and then it's the slow mo with Coco going like giving very much Pepper LaBeija. That's what it reminded me of when them two was kind of looking at each other. It's like, y'all wearing the same wig. So yeah, Phoenix rises from the ashes of season 3, bigger, bolder, and ready to burn up her fellow queens. This boss bitch from the Atlanta drag scene has a fierce competitive streak and wants to show the judges that after all these years, her cunt is still on fire. Meaning charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. But of course I had to say the word. Now, last but certainly not least, let's get to Team Pink. Now, Georges, who we just saw in All Stars 9 and came in at 4th place with 5 other queens, and came in 6th place on her season, which was 14, is back again, or as I should say, back again to compete on another season of All Stars. So it looks like it's getting muggy in here. Because fresh off All Stars 9, the pint-sized diva from season 14 is back to gag the judges with her electrifying performances and remind the world that she was born to do drag, spicy, stunning, and ready to slay. She's living proof that dynamite does come in small packages. Now, I'm glad to see Georges. I will see what she brings with the upcoming season. We could never have too much Georges on our TV screens. Now we have Kerry Colby from season 14. Speaking of season 14, there's a lot of season 14 queens, if y'all notice. Kerry Colby, who came in 9th place on season 14, she's a beautiful baddie straight from the doll factory. She's serving face. I get face, beauty, face, body, and hair for the ages. Repping the legendary House of Colby, the confessional queen of season 14 has business to attend to, getting her puss-perfect portrait in the Drag Race Hall of Fame. And, at one point she was like, talking about that she didn't feel like she was really being her true authentic self when she was on the season. And I was like, yeah, because quiet as it's kept, the next season when your mama came on the show, and that would be Sasha Colby. Sasha Colby came in fully confident, was serving the girls, and then we was looking at Kerry, which is like, I felt like Kerry was holding back. So hopefully in the new season of All Stars, you will be giving the girls, you'll be out here gagging the girls. Now, speaking of hopefully gonna gag the girls and don't mess up like she did on her current season, that just ended, that would be 17. Let's talk about Lydia Boho Collins. Now, I'm wondering, Rue, did y'all bring Lydia back because you need enough more, you didn't feel like you had enough time to keep saying butthole, like you like saying butthole, so you get to say it a little longer with the new season? Because I do feel like it's way too soon that you got her coming back. And I like Lydia, but what's the tea? Why you really brought Miss Lydia back? But we'll see. I guess we watch the show. So now the spooky kooky Lydia is making a U-turn back into the workroom to show that she's been on All-Star all along. Her irreverent drag and stamped mug took her far last season, but now this butthole is ready to go all the way, and she's itching for the crown. No ointment for that. Okay, well, so many of the butt-isms. Now let's get to our season 15 troublemaker, Mistress Isabel Brooks, who came in 3rd on her season. The heavyweight champion season 15 is back in the ring, ready to knock out the competition. The larger-than-life Houston diva pulls no punches when it comes to drag pageantry, and she lives to stir the pot. With Mistress, there are no safe words, no mercy, and zero tolerance for drag delusion. Get ready to submit. And we have 2 more queens. Now, our second to last queen would be Nicole Paige Brooks, who we haven't seen since season 2. And that'll be the Tyra Sanchez season. There are a lot of really good queens on that show. Tatiana. Wasn't Manila on that season, or was that season 3? I'm trying to remember that far back. But look, Tyra Sanchez had a lot of good girls on her season. Shangela was on that season too. Hey y'all, Nicole Paige Brooks from Atlanta, Georgia. Now 15 years after the season 2 debut, this veteran is back to show the children how it's done, and yes, her pronouns are legend and icon. That's what I would say if I walked in the rec room. My pronouns are legend and icon. That would be my work. That would be what I would say walking into the workroom. So now, last but certainly not least, let's get into our another New York queen, who's about to turn it and burn it, and that'll be the one and only Tina Burner. Tinta Burnta, as I would say, who came in 7th place on season 13. So the camp comedy queen is back and ready to turn it and burn it. After blazing through season 13, the veteran diva is taking a pit stop from her tours and residencies to set up competition of Flame. And yes, she, as well as her pussy, is on fire. So I'm actually, after all of this, if y'all have not seen the Meet the Queens, it's on YouTube. They have like the Queen reveal. They do a little Q&A, answer the girls' questions and showing them on the photo shoot. It just looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm pretty much excited for what we're about to get with All Stars 10. But if they're about to give us 5 episodes, I'm about to be tight. Unless the episodes is real long, then I wouldn't be upset. But then again, I'd be upset regardless because I'm like, 5 episodes and y'all going to wiggle all this down, 18 queens and squeeze, just do 5 episodes on that? Or am I reading this wrong? So that's all I got on this. So I want to hear from you all. What do you guys think of, to Meet the Queens? I was actually surprised they dropped it this early. Like, I thought they would drop it at least next week. I'm like, damn, y'all waited 5 days after y'all crown On Your Nerve to reveal who the new Drag Race girlies are on All Stars, which, if you've been paying attention, I read it and all the rumors that was swirling, and I did do a little rumor mill thing last month or 2 months ago? I think all the people that I mentioned are who has actually been officially announced in all the press releases. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. So let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Well, shout out all comments because there's like over 3 dozen. So let's get through them. You said, and sadness be padding for the gods. Yes, she do. I really appreciate Shudder for taking a risk. I just need them to spend money with the studios to get more mainstream content. I've been noticing that Shudder has been getting into producing and bidding on movies like that. Damn, I can't remember the name of it. There's this horror movie that's coming out that's about this clown that's going around killing people. Shudder is behind that. I definitely want to see it. So Shudder's been getting into the producing game as of late. Streaming service that is niche content aiming for us. Georgia is a huge cheat. Like, she just made the top 4 last season. Yeah, I don't understand why they would bring her on, but I guess, they need good TV. But we'll see how it all works out. But I'm like, damn, Georgia was just on the show. Lydia, y'all need to give the season 16 girls a break before y'all even start throwing them on All Stars. But whatever. I just want to know who picked the damn brackets. It comes off manipulative. Good question. And how they end up in these teams. Do they have to do pick a key or pick something out of a box and they end up being put in these groups? Because I'm sure what they're probably going to do is have them all do their little runways, walking around like, wait a minute, there's a lot more girls coming in. When they going to stop? Like, I'm sure that'll all happen when they got to introduce all the girls and the group comes in and splits them all up. It seems like they wanted to break long-term schedule filming times. Breakup, I can imagine. The girls are pissed. It's coming that NBA forced that Kylie Minogue gets canceled. The girls said hexes in the locker rooms. Well, look, this is the game. This is what happens when it's playoffs. Things get canceled. They were very strategic with it. They put Mistress and Lydia in a group together, and they already know each other from the 17. Oh, yeah, that's true, too. I didn't think about that. I was like, yeah, the only one that would know her is Mistress, because Mistress was the only one that just did the villains roast. So it makes sense that they would have her there. So they have her in a group and so that way she's the one, at least she's in a group with somebody that knows who she is. They already know each other from season 17, Rose, Diabetti, and Acid Betty, Bosco, and Irene. Well, another thing, or maybe what it is that in that episode, what they're probably going to do is have 6 queens come in, and they'd be like, and then the alarm sounds, and they'd be like, oh, girl. And they'd be like, wait a minute, only 6? So I'm thinking that's probably what they're going to do is that each episode is going to be the group of 6. They're going to do it individually. Makes sense now. Now I'm thinking about it. And then in the next episodes that they're gonna bring the final 9. So it's like groups of 3, or it boils down to 3, because they did say 3 girls from each group. They end up putting them together, and they picked 3 out of the 6 girls. Yeah, because 6, 12, 18. 3 girls make it into the semifinals, and then after that, so yeah, I could definitely see why. I'm like, damn, I can't. That's crazy though. They're only doing 5 episodes, and so I'm wondering, like, when y'all was talking about how they stopped production and now they're bringing everybody together. They just filmed. They went back to resuming filming. It was probably for those final 2 episodes with the final 9. So that's probably, so now that makes sense why they would do it that way. Now they mentioned that it's only 5 episodes. Reason for gays to hate sports. We never. Well, look, how many homosexuals actually do be at the sports games? Aston Betty is my girl. She has the best promo look, in my opinion. She's the most interesting in the 3rd bracket. Maybe they just want to try to feature more queens, I guess. But look, I still the 5 episodes ain't sitting well. That's ridiculous. Because I feel like y'all should just boil it down. Because yeah, it's giving me All Stars 1 with this whole idea. But they giving them budgets. The girls are joking, but because Kylie really towards the U.S., people had fights booked. Well, that's something difficult to have to deal with. Jasmine and Diabetica were in the same season, and she did, in fact, cry at the reunion because she couldn't take being criticized. And I hope that, yeah, I hope we do get Jasmine Kennedy back. Aja, Carrie, Denali, Ginger, and Olivia are my predictions for the crown. I definitely want to see Aja make it all the way to the end. Mistress should do well also. Well, Mistress is going to bring the drama. Big queens don't win Drag Race. I mean, they should, because, a lot of girls is mad. Oh, they'll never give us a Latina queen. And I'm like, well, the Latina queen going to have to step up Lizzie, just like the big girls got to step it up. I mean, look, how many times did Eureka make it all the way to the end, and she would never just get it? I wasn't excited to see Ginger Mint until I saw to Meet the Queen. She's my 5th. Yeah, I was thinking that too. And she looked a bit swollen in her face, though. That's why I was like, when you tiny, weight shows even more so on you. She also said she hasn't competed with any of these queens before. 4th time. Well, 4 times the charm, I guess. This is Aja's 2nd All-Stars. Yes, it is. Now you're not trying to torment me with that damn chocolate. No cornbread. I don't know if did Cornbread ever said she would. I don't know if Cornbread said she would ever come back and do All Stars. I could have sworn that she was just like she. Yeah, I just don't know if Cornbread has Cornbread ever stated that she wouldn't come back and do All Stars. I feel like she feels like she. I feel like she said she wouldn't come back and do the show. I would like to see her back on the show, but I feel like Cornbread is pretty much done with Drag Race. But yeah, it's been a while since she's done Drag Race. She's been on doing other things. I was like, yes, 7 years. That is a long time. Because she did what? All Stars 3? I'm excited for Phoenix. Anytime a logo era girl comes back for All Stars, they automatically have my support. Yeah, because y'all know I've been watching Drag Race since the beginning, back in the logo days. I told you I was supposed to be learning, doing my film school stuff in college, and I'm sitting there watching Drag Race on their computer. And in class, when I'm supposed to be doing my schoolwork. Me and my classmate Tiffany, we was up in there watching Drag Race. When Roxy came back last year, it was her first time competing in 7 years, but this time she didn't have Alaska and Detox. And look, we all thought that Roxy was going to take the crown. I was like, yeah, this season finally, I felt like Roxy should have walked away with the crown because Roxy to me came and showcased herself as a well-rounded queen that outside of, she didn't need Detox, she didn't need Alaska as a crutch, which it came across during her season of All Stars. I didn't like that. So, and I'm also curious about how they're going to do the whole elimination process. How do they decide the 3 that are going to be up for elimination, that sort of thing? So I'm definitely curious. Does that mean that Rue's going to be clocked in and come to work this time? Because she don't be coming to work clocked in. She come for that check though, but she don't be clocking in. I'm glad Giudice is back. She's my top 5 queen of all time. They can never make me dislike her. Okay, you are a Georgia stan. When Alaska kept her because she lent her a shirt that annoyed. To me, I just thought a lot of their reasons behind saving Roxy was bullshit. But That was then, and I just like that Roxy was allowed to redeem herself on All Stars 9. No one would have blinked if she would have won. Oh, well, what is that? No one would have blinked if she would have won Felix. So, though her last recorded performance was an awful audio, sounding like she used the iPad to make it. Allegedly, Maddie Morpheus has agreed to All Stars 10, dropped out last minute. They called Mirage to fill in her spot. She said no because they wanted to do the Vegas show. And then, so that's what it was. So apparently they was going to have Maddie Morpheus. I guess Maddie feels like she don't need the show anymore. She got Give It To Me Straight. She got other things going on. So she's successful for that, with that, which was like, nah, I can't do it. And so then they had Mirage. Mirage was in the Vegas show. I would like to see Mirage on, but look, if Mirage wasn't going to do it, I'm surprised y'all didn't call Morphine. But then again, Morphine has been, I forgot, Morphine had her little situation at DragCon. So that probably wasn't like, you could get her up in there because, she had the car accident. I don't know if that was around the time when they started filming it, but I was like, yeah. I'm glad Lydia's back. I like her drag aesthetic. And she's the only 21st century born on the cast, the first to make it to All Stars. Well, yeah, we'll see how well she does. Not rest in drag piece. Who I'm hoping for top 4 is Mistress, Lydia, Giudice, and Aspect. Now, I have to really think about that, but I feel like I'm not going to cast my bets just yet or place my bets. I'm going to wait until I watch all 3 episodes. They're giving us the first 2. And then I'll see how everything goes with their performances and the challenges and how the episode plays out. And then I'll make a prediction. But I guess because, based off of the people you would like to see Mistress, Lydia, Giudice, and Asabeni in the top 4. But I don't know. I'll just wait and see. I think it'll be at least 12 to 14 episodes. Well, we'll see. Because I don't know why they said in the story it was 5. Because that don't make no damn sense. I was like, yeah, have the girls competing and individually, one by one, you have them go. But can you imagine if they did that weekly? It was like 18 queens and it's just one by weekly, y'all eliminate one. That'd be the longest damn season. They announced All Stars not exactly a year ago today, 4 days after they crowned Nymphia. Yeah, which is, it's crazy how fast they put this together. It wouldn't make sense if there were only 2 competitive episodes with 9 queens. I don't know how they'll do. Yeah, that's why I was like, I'll just wait. Maybe Felix is on to something where it might be way more episodes than where, because wouldn't y'all want to stretch out Drag Race? I think fans would be pissed if it was like, y'all had 18 queens and y'all did 5 episodes. Y'all already know how people hate. And I'm using hate intentionally. How many people hate All Stars 1? Because it was like, yeah, y'all had all them girls up in there, and y'all had them, competing teams of 2. But I get it. It was logo. They had a tight budget. It was, Drag Race was still getting its sea legs. People really didn't start tuning into Drag Race until about season 5. That's when it started really start cooking with gas. So I understand that. This time ain't no damn excuse. Y'all always been with Viacom, but y'all got a bigger budget. Y'all got way more going for y'all. There's no excuse why y'all would dilute this to some damn 5 episodes. To be fair, they did film the first 9 episodes last summer and just filmed the alleged last 5 episodes not even a month ago. The promo was done recently. You could tell because the Mistress weight. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It was like, that's what I was expecting to say. I was like, well, we're going to see Mistress lose weight, which that's messed up because this is going to be a continuity thing. But I guess they'll explain it that I was like, yeah, now we filmed this recent. Because the people were still gagging on weight. How did, with the current season, I just passed 17. And when they did the lip sync Lollapalooza, and they were like, how were they able to have all the other recent stuff? And they was talking about the relationship, they was talking about all those other things. You saw all the girls was looking a little different. And it was like, yeah, they filmed that last month. Which I actually like the fact that they wait until months later to film the Lollapalooza, so it gives the girls enough time to get a look, to memorize the songs, and to come a little more prepared with that whole lip sync. Oh, so it's probably like 9. So it's probably like 14 episodes. So that would make more sense. The only sports I like are, as a homosexual, cheerleading, dancing, and basketball, baseball, football, because the guys are hot playing it. Okay. I'm still thinking about all the Plastique looks from last season. Yeah, Plastique was definitely serving, and she spent a whole lot of money on them damn looks. Fashion-wise, Plastique won. She had some of the best runways in the show's history. Agreed. And if there's only 5 episodes, they're going to be 3 hours long because how the hell are they going to bring 18 queens and do all that? Okay. That's why I'm like, Variety, was there a glitch in the Matrix? Because, wait, let me look and see how many, because you type them with one hand, episodes will there be for RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars 10. Oh, it says RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars 10 has 12 episodes. The season utilizes a new tournament of All Stars format where the 18 returning queens compete in brackets before moving on to the semifinals and a final lip sync smackdown. Okay, so yeah, even Deadline is saying it. So yeah, it's that's what they said. So it's 12 episodes. Okay, so that makes more sense. Oh, I thought they was gonna say that Telly Mellencamp died. I'm like, child, I don't want to read that. But yeah, so okay, so now we know. But I think what got us confused is that it was there's a semifinal thing. Okay, so now we got it. So it's 12 episodes. That works. Because I was like, huh? And so 3 episodes per bracket, maybe then 3 more. I'm sure fans are gonna love this season and then turn on it. Well, that's always the case, right? They always, they love it one minute, then they just be out here hating. But as I said before, I'm pretty excited for this upcoming season of All Stars. I wish I would have read the Deadline one because then it would have made more sense with that. But yeah, it's like y'all had me out here looking crazy. I'm like, wait a minute, 18 queens and 5 episodes? What kind of fuckery is that? Child, I just read also Snoop Dogg coming back as a coach for The Voice, but I'm like, who still watches The Voice? Anyway. All right, y'all. So now we're done with with today's episode. I want to thank you all for tuning in to today's episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I knew it was going to go over 3 hours because I was like, with all the breakdowns I had to do with that Shannon Sharpe interview or that Shannon Sharpe story and with Drag Race All Stars, because that was a lot that was going on with that. I just knew I was going to hit damn near 4 hours. But I want to thank all y'all for sticking it out with me and kikiing with me in these comments and all that good stuff. So yeah, love you all for watching. I'll try to see if I can come on tomorrow if there's anything juicy going on in the gossip sphere. So yeah, if you can, please do me a solid and hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Like I said thank you all for tuning in and all the key and all that mess that goes on with this show, this messy show, I should say. And until next time, ciao, darlings.